thanks. Hey, Rascal. I am guestless right now, and not even Anna's on, so it's kind of weird. What's up, guy? Charlie Snow. Let's see what we got. Alrighty. Alrighty. Hope everyone is good.
Back in 2001,
Kinda
when
quiet.
we first began working with Gary Gygax, he pitched this wonderful series of books to us. He called them the Gygaxian Fantasy Worlds, and what he envisioned was this encyclopedic
I
set
know,
of
it's
books
bizarre, isn't it?
for role players, writers, game designers, the whole lot of us, that we could use in making our games, creating our adventures, writing stuff for publishable content, whatever it may be. And there was really no end to what he envisioned this series to be. We eventually published The Canting Crew, The World Builder, Living Fantasy, 7 volumes in total. We had another 3 that were ready to go to print, another 3 or 4 after that we were working on. So the series was really open-ended. We are bringing these back. That's what this Kickstarter is. We've got 7 books online ready to be printed. We've got another 3 right after that we want to get it minimally out as we were working on them at the time. Those will be out definitely in PDF, depending on how well the Kickstarter does, and maybe even more than that once we kind of push beyond the necessary stretch goals and all that mess. But welcome to the what we're calling the Gary Gygax World Building Archives, and please give us your support. Share it around if you can. Pledge if you can. Whatever you need to do, whatever you can do for us and the memory of Gary Gygax, we very much appreciate it.
Trollord Games, join the fray.
Hey, Anna.
Hello.
It gets so loud.
Uh-oh.
Yeah,
Hang on a second.
Yeah, it was just the end of the Troller Games thing with Steven on, so it's like boom.
Well, I can't hear it, so.
Oh, yeah, you don't care. Yeah, it's like boom. It's all right.
It's okay. Oh, good.
Good.
So, there we go.
I tried getting a third on. I guess Mike is DMing, and
Oh, so Mike will not be here?
he didn't say it. He didn't
Oh, I
respond
thought.
either way.
Okay, well, we'll see. Yeah.
I know Les couldn't come on this week. I tried it to see what.
But a good thing is he's still around. And
Yeah,
and-
yeah, that-
well, that's
absolutely.
good. I was worried. Yeah.
Will's stuff is good, but I don't know a lot of them. A lot of them are publications I may not even know, like all his new wizards. And I was trying to figure out which is which. I was like, I don't know. On a roll, rock and roll, 35 stream streak. That's insane, man. Holy jeez, that's fantastic. Wow. All right, let me go. We still got That's why I should be searching in the early hours here looking for stuff because that's when I crash things. Oh,
When you're adventurous.
yes. Dangerously.
Well, it's always good to be an online daredevil. So
Yes.
Yeah.
Taking risks.
Yeah.
On a good note, I talked to John at Boombox yesterday.
Oh, good. I hope he's
He's doing
okay.
really well.
Oh, wonderful.
Taylor Forth. Not the other one. Alrighty. No Circle of 8 Wizards or Mordenkainen tonight, thank God. But other wizards and schools too. Let's talk about let's get into that a little bit. Alright, good. Well, Will just saved my butt, so on something. I just need to bring it over here, do something dumb. I'm gonna do something really, really dumb. So if I crash everyone, I apologize.
Well, it's early. We can come
Yeah, it's
back.
early, right? So I'm hoping this doesn't crash everything.
Yeah.
You're still there, right?
Yep, I'm
All right,
still
cool.
here.
Okay, good.
Yep. Even your logo is spinning, so it seems to go
Good.
well. Yeah.
Good.
We got it nice and toasty, above 90 for the second time this year. So yeah.
Oh, really?
Yep. We've only had one day before this year that it was above 90. So this is the second day we've had so hot that we have to start thinking about air conditioning, but we don't have air conditioning on. But
Oh, yeah,
we have to think about it.
We've already had it on.
Yep.
All right, so I got it there, but good. I'll leave that open there. Perfect. Hey, card man. We're 5 minutes early. Why not? So
Yep.
awesome. All right, that's good. Hit 77 in San Francisco. Oh, that's nice.
Oh, nice. Yep.
That's nice weather. So
That's where we have been for the last week or so, but then we got a spike.
thanks, Bill.
Summer temperature.
It gets humid here.
Mm-hmm.
It gets real humid in Jersey and South Jersey. So
Yeah, we are humid for
Thanks,
unusually
Bill.
humid for here, meaning we reach like 35% rather than 7, so to speak.
Oh, geez, that's
Yeah. So it feels tropical. It feels like Hawaii in here today. So yeah.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
kinda
but I like
sticky.
it. Oh yeah, but I kind of like it. I grew up in the cold, the Arctic cold.
Yeah,
So
you don't
any
need
day
it
I'm not
anymore,
wet
but-
and cold, it's a good day. Yeah.
Stockton, Fairfax at 100. Oh my gosh! All right, so let's.
Wow.
I'm gonna set the giveaway up because it's gonna be
Yep.
a good one tonight. Even though Will won't be on, I'm gonna tell you in a second here once I find it. Oh man,
Yeah.
these frickin' commands. They drive me crazy. Now where did they put the giveaways here in? There it is. They move stuff around here, and everyone's always trying to improve upon what they have, and they just make it more tough to find stuff. There we go. Recent events. All right. So there. All right. So hey, Chantel. So what we got, what we're giving away is, now I don't have them yet, but that's okay. I don't need them in my possession because will give me. All we need is your name and address, and he will send this directly to you. And that is this, and that is a hard copy, along with a PDF, of course, of the spell tome of the Council of Eight. So an actual full print hard copy of it, we'll be giving away tonight, along with the PDF of it. So. That'll be good, and then we'll be discussing this a bit as well because they're renamed in here, but there's a bunch of obscure spellcasters. They're in GREYHAWK that he's slightly changed the name on. That would be great for this discussion. So Will, like I said, saved my butt by giving me the cross-reference chart on which ones they actually. Hey Pat, which ones they actually are. So I have that down now. 1, 2, 3, 4. It looks like I only have 7 though. It looks like I'm missing one. Well, maybe not. We'll see. So Anna, Wizards, not the Council of whatever we call it, not the Council of Eight, the Circle of Eight, and finally we'll get away from Morning Canaan, and some of them deserve. Like, we should go in a little bit more detail on them in the future, but like, let's bounce around and talk about published source wizards, spellcasters that have magical ability, necromancers, illusionists count. I mean, they're all different schools of wizardry, right? So this will be fun because there's a whole list of them out there. Some you already know about, some I've already discussed in other shows, but let's enjoy this discussion with some of the cool ones that are out there as we get rolling here on a Wednesday night, kicking off the week of 4 streams. Yay! So 4 streams this week, 3 next week as I go on vacation. After that, I'm going a full week. So let's see here.
It's kind of funny. I've been reading David Leonard's awesome series of articles on Morning Canaan on GREYHAWK Musings.
Oh, really? Cool.
Oh yeah, he done what is like 6? I think it's 5 articles and the spell list and the conclusion. I haven't read the conclusion yet, but I'm pretty much read the rest of it.
Is it a history of them, or is it?
Yeah, it's basically everything. Covers speculation, history,
nice.
Tangential topics. It's amazing. So hats off to David for a fantastic series of the best, in my opinion, the best study of Morning Canaan by a long shot that I've ever read. So yeah.
Well, hopefully, there you go. I linked his GREYHAWK Musings.
Perfect, great.
There, so you guys can all take a look at that, and you should be able to find it rather easily if that's his latest work, right? Okay. All right. Good.
Yep.
Good to hear. So hey, Delaware. So
the
spellcasters of GREYHAWK. I mean, wizards and spellcasters have always been like the vital cog in any adventuring party or in a lot of stories. But then sometimes it's like, well, why doesn't why don't they just do this and avoid I'll give you an example. Tensor and Aluk getting destroyed by Rari and Rabelar. Why didn't they just teleport away? Or why didn't they just, you know what I mean? There's all those
part of this. It's this kind of story hiccups that you get when you have a story and you want to tell it. It's like I was always amazed by the script writers for the James Bond movies.
Oh, yeah.
How the heck they managed to get him out of all the trouble they got him into. And I feel this is a little bit the same way. They had to.
Yeah.
Meaning they didn't look at the rules. They wrote a cool story and that was it, so to speak. And to me, that's the problem with there's a little bit of a problem in both ends. One of the problem in one end is how the magic works in the game, because it leaves a lot of these kind of cool stories almost mechanically impossible or very difficult to pull off. On the other hand, when they write the stories, they should take more consideration to the mechanics of the game. And then I think they should tweak, meaning if they want to tell a certain amount of stories of a certain kind, you should have the mechanics to support that story. That's always my kind of, you can't tell stories in one way and then have mechanics that doesn't support it. That to me is a mismatch that over time you should, meaning, so you should have a rule system that supports the stories you want to tell.
Trying to put
And this, I think, is one of these perfect examples of where you have mechanics going one way and the storytelling goes another way. And I can understand why it is, because D&D originally with chainmail and stuff was not supposed to tell stories. It was
Right.
an extension of wargaming, and wargaming is not so much about stories. It's more like simulations and kind of play out a scenario happens in a battle, so to speak. Not necessarily tell stories, and especially not individual stories about the characters. That was something that D&D evolved gradually to be able to tell. So it's
I'm trying to
but
find my Player's Handbook second edition
yeah.
here,
But
where it's.
one other
Go ahead,
thing when
Anarchy.
it comes when it comes to wizards in the setting is that when you look at it, you have almost all of the famous wizards of Greyhawk, the from the Circle of Eight and others located. They are located, meaning they are from Gary's home campaign, and they are invented near that, so to speak, in the early days, and they are from the city of Greyhawk and in surrounding areas. And they have all the spells and stuff like that from it, because the D&D rules were kind of written around these wizards of old. And that's the Certains and the Utluks and the Bigbies and the Tensors and all of those
Yep.
famous old wizards. But then there are a later crowd of equally powerful wizards that didn't make it into the mechanical editions of D&D, but they are a vital part of the story of Greyhawk. But they came later on, especially during the Sargent era, when he wrote the source books, especially the Ivid Undying. There is plenty of them. The court wizards of Rossi's of the Great Kingdom, perfect example. Karulk and a bunch of others were 20th level archmages.
Oh, it's ridiculous.
They don't have any spells to them by name, so to speak, but they are equally powerful. They are 20. They archmage is 20th level. So there you have, and that is simply due. It's not. That's simply a something that happened due to how Greyhawk got evolved and published over the years, so to speak. So it has to do with publication history, I think. But if you look at Wizards, you can look in the rule books and you can see all the old classical ones. But if you look at the campaign and the lore, then you get another bunch of wizards that are story-wise really interesting. But when it comes to mechanics and spells and stuff, they doesn't have the same footprint.
So I'm trying to find my Player's Handbook second edition, but I got one that has no page numbers on it, and it's driving me crazy. And magic, wizard spells. I'm looking for learning spells. I'm just looking for schools and priest spells, blah blah. Magical research, spell descriptions. Nope, it's not there. Okay. All right. So be in the beginning of first edition.
Yeah.
You had spells categorized, right? But they weren't like it didn't matter really. It didn't really matter.
That schools were something that I think someone was toying around with thematically. The meaning necromancy and illusion, and that was the only one that stood out. The rest of them didn't mean anything. Those were cool names that certain wizards in the story were invokers or diviners or whatever, but they were only things you put on the story. It didn't have any mechanical footprint, so to speak. That came later in second edition. It started, and third edition, it got its peak, so to speak. And then they started downplaying them again in fourth edition and fifth edition. They aren't anywhere near as mechanically important as they were in third edition.
I didn't know that, really? I thought
they downplayed it. And look at CNC, for instance. They're mentioned. I don't think they even have spell schools in CNC. It's their spells, and that's it. So a lot of the game system, the mechanics were probably too intricate. They wanted to simplify it and make it more streamlined, so it was easy to learn, easy to play. And I can totally understand that.
Yeah, I understand that too. It makes
total sense. It depends on the perspective, so to speak. How do you want to have a multifaceted magic system able to tell cool stories? Then you might need to be a little bit more precise and intricate. But on the other hand, that also means that a heck of a lot of stuff will be possible that will ruin a bunch of stories you want to tell. So
I
it's a
know.
always a double-edged sword. If you allow cool things with magic, then these things will happen, and
So
that kind
true.
of both, yeah. So that's something that I'm trying hard now to have a rule system that supports the stories I want to have in my games, so to speak.
It's
And it's really hard, and still keep some D&D, all the D&D flavor, and that's
and keep
really hard.
balance at least.
Exactly. Yeah.
Which is really the challenge.
Yeah. Yeah. Balance is actually, from my perspective, the easiest bit. The hardest bit is to make sure that you support the stories without ruining them. That is even harder, I
Yeah,
think,
well,
especially with the high level magic. You can nerf the
absolutely.
numbers. Yeah, you can nerf the numbers and say, oh, you can't do this or you can't do that. But you still want the cool stories of people disappearing and god snatching stuff and whatever. So yeah.
It's well, I've always, when we've done this for 40 years now, is something
Yeah.
will come up and we'll add it, and then we're
Mm-hmm.
like, this is crazy. We can't do
Yeah.
this. For example, and this is not a spell, but Dark Elves, when they
Mm-hmm.
came out in Earth Arcana, oh well, they don't get a penalty in their second hand, right? Someone, I'm partially to blame, converted that to, well, I guess I can specialize in both hands now with weapons. What a disaster that was, running
Mm-hmm.
around with super
Yeah.
law machines with multiple attacks, and it
That
went
that's
insane.
yeah,
So we
that's another problem. Meaning, how many attacks would you allow, and what? And it's something every edition of D&D
right,
and its adjacent game, they're struggling with it. Meaning, you want to allow it thematically, but you don't want to have to roll 16 times and cause enormous amount of
right,
damage and stuff like that. So that's a typical balancing issue that is
yeah.
it's tricky. Yeah.
Hey, Mike, did you change your name?
Hello.
I thought my group was the only one who used that term. La machine. Well, yeah. So, yeah, I like the
Yeah.
new name. Very cool. So,
Yeah.
no, well, the La Machine. I'll tell you another one. I bet you can. You'll appreciate this. A magic item in the original Wizardry, the blade Cuisinart. So everyone is called a Cuisinart when they do multiple attacks. If you remember that item that you could get, you're
No,
like,
I
oh my
can't
god, I
remember.
don't know how many attacks. Ultimately, a cudgel used against design. You not like. There's no way the game can be balanced. All right, so Sam, I don't want perfect total balance. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm
Yep.
saying that there's stuff, and it happens with spellcasters too, that got a little too much one way or another.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, Drow got penalties in sunlight. They did. Okay, but everyone's adventuring in dungeons. So
Yeah.
yeah, balance is in the EXP chart. Yeah,
But
you guys
and
can
this is
argue with me
also,
all you want.
yeah, but this is also something that changed over the edition. Meaning
Yeah,
in late, especially from, it started with third edition, but it got its peak in fifth edition, that every class needed to be mathematically balanced, so to speak. In fourth edition, especially, all the powers and so on, they doled out roughly the same amount of damage. They could do the same amount
breaking
of
the
cool
game.
stuff and so
Yeah,
on. So they were mechanically equalized, meaning you had powers that could be used every round. You had ones that could be every counter. You had daily powers and so on, both fighters and rogues and wizards. But in early editions of the game, balance was something completely different. It was like low level play, thieves and fighters, martial ones stood out to be very powerful, and wizards have to guard the horses until they could cast third level spells. And then they became immensely powerful at high level. And in that sense, if you play through the career, they were all dominating the game at different levels, so to speak. But the wizards, they were very, and first edition is by modern standard a very unbalanced game. I think a lot of it on purpose, because wizards were supposed to be frail and then do the occasional cool stuff that was breaking the game or
yeah.
breaking the world by take it by storm by being able to crush some enemy with a spell or something like that. And in later editions, they put more mechanics in and they tried to balance it so every player, so all players that played wizards didn't have to wait 15 sessions before they can do cool stuff, so to speak.
Yeah, and even Ed talks about that and why he
Yeah.
overpowered spells. You
Yeah.
know, so yeah, and I'm not talking about mechanical perfection. I'm just talking about
Yeah.
balance is the wrong word, Sam. Game
hmm
breaking stuff.
Yeah.
There are game breaking
Yeah.
abilities. There are game breaking items,
hmm
and there are game breaking, spells too. I mean, there just is, and
Yeah.
Character Team XP should be roughly the same power level. Yeah, so I'll say this. We've done a lot to make spellcasters palatable with added extra spell slot, which it's you may not think that's a lot, but getting it, like when you turn third level, getting that extra spell, and when
hmm
you're a fifth level caster and you get an extra second level, is a huge thing.
hmm
Um, then there's there's other abilities that that we've kind of added in a little bit of the meta magic, not a lot, but a little bit. So we've
hmm
always tried to help our mages out,
Yeah.
and also have combat casting classes like elementalists and other, and I love necromancers and
hmm
enhancing illusionists and all the other things we've done, but they're still tough to play at early levels. But that doesn't, like, a lot. It's rare for us to. It's still rare for us to have a straight magic user at first level. Hey Keith.
Yeah.
Now what? Now certain classes are required. They can't be multi-class in my game. You can have a fighter mage, an elven fighter mage. You cannot have an elven fighter elementalist or an elven fighter wild mage. Those are so strenuous that in my, that's it. They can't dual class. They can't, so unless they're special NPC. So we've done a lot of stuff like that. But
hmm
there still are issues. There are always going to be issues. But it's always like every game IDM's a playtest, right? And they're like,
hmm
I don't
Yeah.
know if we want to
But
go through that
but
again.
I think
Yeah.
you done a lot of good work that have been done in later editions, because in first edition and I think basic D&D, magic was this kind of magical thing that didn't belong in the natural world, so to speak. You could do things that broke the laws of nature and laws of physics, and you could do cool stuff, so to speak. And that meant that very little of it, there was the saving throws. That was basically it. There weren't that many other mechanics that guided things, meaning dispel magic was one spell that had the effect. It wasn't something that you could do. There were no magical skills. There were no spellcraft checks and stuff like that, meaning you couldn't identify another caster casting a spell and figure out what spell it was so you can kind of counter it and stuff like that. So the magic happened without being too regulated in the game or quantified or mechanically put it into on par with the other stuff. It had a more pristine place up there with that you could do cool stuff that was
Right.
halfway outside the world, so to speak. And later editions, especially third edition, brought that back into it, and magic just became one thing that you mechanically could do, just like hitting someone with a sword or something, or trying to sneak past someone. And fourth edition really brought that in. 5e tried to bring a little bit of that old school vibe of magic being special again, but only to this much, so to speak. And
No, we
you've
haven't
gone
talked about Rick now.
yeah, you've gone a few steps in the direction of later editions, but you still kept the first edition vibe that magic really truly is special, so to speak, in that sense.
Yeah, Sam,
Yeah.
you can't do power stuff. All right, here's example number 1.
Yeah.
What's the most overpowered first level mage spell in first edition? Let's see who gets it.
I'm thinking, are you thinking every level all the way up to ninth?
First level.
First level. Okay.
If you're first level mage, you have the spell. You are kick ass. Yes, sleep. Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Sleep. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. No saving throw.
No.
Yeah.
Well, there is for elves and stuff, but who?
Yeah. But for normal, yeah, it's
yeah. So,
yeah.
But I never changed that. We never made it. I'm in a cleric. That doesn't help. We never changed that spell, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because, it's a spell, like, it's simple. If you don't want a first level mage to have it, don't. Hey, Carlos, good to see you.
Hello.
Talking wizards tonight, Carlos, and
Yeah.
schools of magic, having some fun. Don't put it in their book at first level. That's simple. You know, roll it up. No, that spell's just not available. It's simple. That's
Yeah.
an easy one to get rid of. And then, so I usually very, very rarely do I allow sleep in the first level.
Yeah.
Because I would
And
take out 4 to 16 goblins like that. Yep.
yeah, but there you point out a couple of things that I think have got lost that are in the rules that are supposed to limit magic users in some ways. One that is often overlooked is components. That you're supposed to find all this stuff like a little spider, bat guano, or whatever it is. That might not be difficult. If you're up in the cold polar regions in the snow, there might never be a spider. If you didn't bring one, you don't have one. So magic components, I think, is one of these things that were put in there, both for thematically make the game fun, but also in order to limit the game, meaning a wizard have to go around
Carlos.
purchasing these things or finding them, preparing them, storing them, and it's something that can be stolen from. Meaning a wizard that's taken prisoner, and they take his component or his or her component pouch, they can't cast spells or very few spells. That's one way you limit them in that sense. The other limit is that spells have to be learned. They have to be acquired. They don't come automatically.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We do that.
But most editions and most standard rules in later editions, they're simple. So every time you level up, you can just pick 2 spells. And of course, every wizard worthy of that salt will pick the really powerful, juicy ones from each level. And
that's why.
something-
Well, that's and so Rex Fellis asked a question that we can delve into real quick here. And that is, one of my players recently joined the GREYHAWK Society of Magi, and I'm still trying to figure out how to interpret the society as an organization. Do they share spells, offer tutoring? Do they have a library? So lending out spell books. This is what I would say. Roger Moore was asking this and talking about details on this on one of my posts for Facebook, and I said to him, I do this to a small extent because, once again, I do not want to overchunk the game. And that is, Rick Fells, pick something that is an advantage for them to join, but don't go crazy with it. So, if they're in the GREYHAWK Society of Magic, are they going to see Jawal Severnane down in the basement, the Dark Elf down there, who I have as the, takes the place of Adaluk for my GREYHAWK Mage for Adaluk? But the answer is probably not, right? Especially if they're low level. But what does that give as a benefit to joining the Society of Magic? First of all, they got to pay $100, $100 gold a year, I think, is the membership fee. First off. Secondly, do they offer tutoring? Well, that's in the course of gameplay. You can do that. They have a library that lends out spell books? Absolutely not. They do not lend out spell books. Do they sell scrolls? Possibly, but then again, you do not want to become a one-stop shop, right? You don't want to do that. But what I would say is that, for example, if they go on a mission for the Society of Magic, or when they level up, you're supposed to get one new spell. That's it. Make it what we do. If you're a member of a guild, you get 2 spells to add to your spell book. 2. And you keep on going to your no spell. If they send you on a mission and you're successful, they give you access to the library for a certain amount of time, and maybe you can add 2 to 3 spells to your spell book as a reward. So that's the way I do it. I wouldn't go hardcore into exactly this is what you have to do. That's what I would do. So because like I said, I don't want to get into the minutia, but if you're role playing and it's a mage thing, maybe you do. So yeah, exactly.
I will do a variant of that. But I think it's a great question, and it's also something that I think should be handled in game, so to speak, thematically, not put a rule saying that if you're a member, you get this or whatever. First of all, I would figure out what are the goals of the Society of Magic, meaning what is it there? Is it an organization run by the oligarchs in order to make sure that they have a bunch of loyal wizards in the city that could do their bidding? And so I would say that these magical societies or something will fall generally into 2 categories. One political, one financial, so to speak. Some of them are there political. They are set up by rulers in order to facilitate them having magical expertise at hand. That's one way of looking at it, and the other ones are there simply in big cities and others as it's a enterprise, meaning it's there to earn money. Someone realized that, oh, magic is very potent. There is a lot of money in this, and if I can buy and sell and trade magical knowledge and the paraphernalia to create books and all that stuff, I can earn money. I think they will fall into one of these two categories. In most realms that are organized and well functioning, they will probably not let, it will be run by the government, so to speak, and the king or the ruler or the oligarch. So I would say, first of all, to become a member, you have to have reasonably good standing, so they know you're loyal, so to speak. You're reliable and loyal. So they will do some sort of.
Oh, Carlos is joining us.
Oh, awesome! Thank you. Yeah. So I would put. Oh, hello.
Good to see you're home and have nothing better to do.
Awesome. It's awesome. Yeah. We're talking wizards.
Wizards.
Society and oh yeah, we can hear you. Yeah. We're talking school some society, magical societies and stuff. So and I tend to lump them into two categories. One run by the high and mighty in order to create magical resources and make sure they have an educated pool of capable wizards, so to speak. And the other ones are run for financial reasons, so to speak. And so if you want to be a member of the first one, you need to pass a loyalty test. First, you have to pay money, but you also have to somehow show them that you are loyal to the goals, meaning to the ruler or whoever runs the school, so to speak. And then you have to prove that over time. You have to prove that you're useful. Send out, run errands. We need certain scrolls. So there is a spell we don't have in our library. Can you go out and find it? And once you become useful, then you will get perks, so to speak, and move up. In the beginning, you just have to run errands and you might have to spend a week to mix the magic ink or find spiders or whatever the components is, something to send you on adventures doing. And once you're loyal, then the perks will come up, as long as with your ability to serve the guild, so to speak.
So, Carlos, just so you know, I don't know if you were on when I showed it, but let me show this real quick first. And that is what the giveaway tonight is which is wonderful. And I'm going to go over some of this. And that's William Henry Dvorak's brand new book, which is got 5th edition and OSR spells in it. And that is
yes, I saw it.
Yeah,
I saw it.
Okay, Spelltome with the Council of 8, everyone, and it's going to be a hardback copy with a PDF.
Great.
Hardbacks aren't into me yet, but we'll just need name and address, and Will's going to send it direct. So there you go. All right, and that we'll discuss some of that. So, my thoughts on this, and then we'll have Carlos talk about this, is that the guild is there, and if you're a member in good standing, you got to work your way up, but it's there to assist adventurers because what's the goal of all the guilds? To get more knowledge, right? That's kind of why we have a GREYHAWK Mage class, is to acquire spells that are secretive or are lost, ancient Soul spells, Lunar spells, and so they want travelers to go out there and they want to train them.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
What I have a different is the goal of the guild is to support the oligarchy in their hold of the city, but the means they do so is to find and make sure that the magic knowledge that are at the disposal, that the oligarchs have more magical power than anybody else in the land, so to speak.
The oligarchs are thieves.
I thought it was a skill player character.
What's that?
But they're still smart rulers. Yeah.
Okay. I don't know about that, Anna. We can agree to disagree.
Exactly. This is the whole point. And it also depends on where in the history of the city. Earlier on, the city wasn't that well organized. Then they didn't have enough power to whip a magical society in shape, so to speak.
True.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts, Carlos, on doing guilds?
Well, I was just saying I jumped in here kind of late, so we're talking about guilds.
Well, right. Yeah. The question for Carlos was like, my character joined the guild of wizardry in GREYHAWK. What should I give him? What benefits? And I told him an extra spell each level when he goes up, get 2. If they take him on quests, have access to the library, so that's how you get spells for research.
An extra spell in your spell book.
Yes.
Right? Okay, I was going to say casting per day.
Yeah.
But
Oh yeah. And
I
of knowledge.
don't think that that's a bad reward per se, but I also think that what Anna is saying is very is salient. Is that the guild is an opportunity for adventure. The guild is an opportunity for your player character to network with other
Yep.
with other magi and either exchange material components, perhaps for money, or for to exchange a little bit of some obscure knowledge, or in some cases it can be a springboard to adventure for a DM. I think those are all really good purposes for the guild. I think that those are all what I use a guild for, honestly,
Yeah.
my own games. But I also think, though, that the guild depends completely upon what guild you're in. Like, for
True.
example, if you're in the city of Greyhawk, the free city, the tenor and the way that the guild is presented and represented is going to be totally different than if you're in a guild of wizardry in, say, Marner and Radix, which
Yep.
is different than it's going to be. And I think that that's another opportunity for you to flesh out the world of Greyhawk, is by kind of illuminating those differences within your player characters. You don't explicitly say it, but when your player characters learn it through game, they realize, hey, wait, I'm in a totally different place here, and it adds flavor to those different parts of the world.
Yep.
I
Yeah,
agree.
and I agree. I agree completely. That's but and also Sam has some interesting points too. That the guild is there to limit knowledge. In some cases, that might be true, but I also I think that the second and the third point there is that fewer wizards running around. I think one of the reasons that a lot of rulers set up these is that they want to know who can cast spells in their country, so to speak. Both due to it's always good to know who might become your enemy and who they need to make sure are loyal, but it's also a way to recruit court wizards and stuff like that. So take like the Belvoir in Shendel, for instance, for Yundi. He wants to have magical arcane power at hand that is reliable and loyal and stuff. And that means that he can't trust them to just pop in from somewhere or appear. He needs to train them, and that means that they need to have knowledge and so on. It's a thing you cultivate, and it's part of state secret. It's like governments today have like advanced technological research tied into their military and stuff like that, just to figure out how things work and stuff. I can see in a fantasy world having magical knowledge, but then you can have a city like Stoic, for instance, that is very unorganized, run by thugs who either don't care or don't know how to. And as long as the wizard guild doesn't mess with them personally and bring in a lot of money, they're fine, so to speak. That they might not care one bit, so to speak.
Let me read this real quick. Let's go to the Free City Growth box set, page 16. I think it's Guild of Wizardry. Just real quick. So I think this is very broad, okay, and it can be limited. It says here, let me blow this up. Membership in the Guild of Wizardry is open to all wizards of any race or alignment, although those of undisputably evil, maybe not. I don't allow necromancers in either, by the way, in this one. Membership's 100 gold pieces a year, but the benefits outweigh material costs. Guild members receive instruction at 10% less than normal cost. So that's for training, if you use training money. The guild also carries an extensive stock of spell components available at reduced prices for guild members. Also a store of magical items for sale to guild members. That can get out of hand. Discounts, right? Discounts and prices can vary considerably from guild member to guild member. The guild looks favorably on those who take an active interest in the organization. Boom. Perfect. We both said that. The guild is always on the lookout for rare spell components, and a guild member who donates a share of the powdered lich dust he acquired or makes a gift of the odd quart of black dragon blood here and there will find that the services and the facilities of the guild are more freely available to him and cheaper too. Boom. Right there. And then here, it also accepts commissions for the production of customized magic items. Currently working on Thieves' Tools of opening for Ordnance Master of the Thieves Guild. There you go, some ideas.
Yeah, and they might offer that you might be able to rent your magical workshop for a week or something like that. Meaning you can rent a room there equipped with stuff, so you can rent like a place where you can study and you can write your scrolls and you can do that stuff. That might be
Buying's a little too much.
Yeah, so they might provide that so that you can sit and research, and that might offer access to libraries in the city where you can go and do research on things and stuff like that too. So yeah.
So I know, Carlos, what you said, and I agree. Like
Mhm.
we the store thing. I like the trading stores and all, and you put in a little quirky item in there, and you get them in, those kind of traps, right? Yeah, I agree on that. But here's my second question. Before we get to schools, and this is a Bill Master Crafter mentioned this. How many of you in old school use a traveling spell book so that wizards don't take their entire spell books out on adventures?
I do.
Sort of, but in my interest, most wizards haven't had a permanent home. They have been their backpack and their horse and that's
Wow,
been
geez,
their
I'm like,
home, so
what?
to speak. So they have, a lot of them have probably had a real spell book somewhere, but a base of operations has been fleety at best. So I simply say, well, a spell book, the traveling spell book is what they have. So they might, some of them for to be more safeguard as a backup, they have deposited a copy of them. They spent like a month in the city. They made a copy of their spell book and then deposited that somewhere, so to speak, for some money, so they can go back and get it again, so to speak.
So
That's
hold,
one of the services that the guild can provide, so to speak. They
yeah.
can,
Jay, what
yeah,
you're referring to about the traveling spell book is one of the reasons why Bacab's Blessed Book in UA was created.
And I love Bacchus Special. Good. We
yeah.
allow that's like the item that all our wizards in our games want because it's by levels. As an example. So what we do is, and I think Carlos, the base one. Let's just talk about this real quick. Um, you're allowed 6 spells of first through third in a traveling spell book, which only costs about 500 gold. When you're out on the road, you don't want to you don't want your spell book to get blasted by by a dragon. Then you have no spells, right? And so
Mhm.
normally you have it stored away in a secure area. That's where it gets a little hairy. Like, where's that? Where's secure in
Mhm.
Greyhawk, right? Okay,
Yeah.
I can understand that. And then from fourth, fifth, and sixth, only 4 spells. Seventh and eighth, 2, and you can never have a ninth level spell in a traveling spell book. Is that what you use, Carlos? Same exact, yeah.
Almost exactly.
So that limits what a wizard has to. And in my All Star games, I let them all spell point it. They got it way too easy. But my real players, for example, this is Sherry the Mystic. This is Tom's character. He's playing tomorrow. Look at how old this sheet is. And here's all her spells, right? But there's all her spells. But down there is her traveling spell book, and that's it. So she casts off spells during an adventure, and then they do. You can call it a long rest, but they do an encampment for the night,
Mhm.
8 hours or whatever. And I allow a limited amount of spells. They can only get back from the traveling because their regular spell book's not with them. So, correct? Is that the way you do it too, Carlos?
Yeah, pretty much. The only difference, even for my convention games, if you ever open up one of my modules, especially the more
It's good.
recent ones, the early ones, I didn't really do this in a whole lot, but the more recent ones, all my spellcasters, I mention what they have memorized, and I also mention what they have in their spell book, because I think it's more important to, you know, for players who like to do substitutions and things like that. I think it
Right,
gives.
that's great. So you know that all those spells were in their spell book. You just have this. You're not going to write it down redundantly. So that makes total sense. That's great. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's perfect. Because
I'm
go ahead,
oh,
Anna.
sorry.
No, go
No,
for
no,
it.
I was going to say I'm tweaking those rules right now for my house rules, but I've usually said that, meaning if you want to have a backup of your spell book, that's something you have to create. It takes time, costs money, and all of that. And then you have to deposit it somewhere, and you have to trust where you deposit it, meaning they might be nefarious and make use of it. And so on, or steal it or something. So you have to make sure that you do it in a safe place. But it's also risky. That's one of the scary bit, meaning with magic, with power of magic comes responsibility. Meaning if your book gets stolen, then you might stand there with your pants down as a wizard. But there are some secret ways. If you want to smuggle a spell into a country or a realm or an area where it's not allowed, you memorize the spell. And then you can spend downtime and actually write it down. And that way you can create a scroll of it, so to speak. So if you can only write down what you have memorized. So you can only bring in so many spells, but there are ways you can transport magic inside your own body, so to speak, in your mind, and therefore you memorize them, and that way you can transport them past security, so to speak, and into. So there are various devious, cheeky ways of getting magic in where it's not allowed.
You
So
got to be real careful of that, Anna, because if my guys were in your game, they'd be abusing the hell out of that.
oh, but you see that if they start using magic,
Tim,
the enemies, meaning you will
Alan.
be a magnet for
Yeah,
and
no,
anything
no,
you
no,
can
no.
do.
What they would
can
do is they would transcribe all their scroll spells
Mhm.
and
Yep.
then start selling them off.
Oh, sure. Yeah. That
I'm
means
just
that
telling you
you
what
will-
they would do. I know
yeah.
them.
Oh yeah. But I will allow that, because if I will allow it, and they might earn money on it, but they will also put a target on their back. First of all, that if you start selling magic that way, that means that you need approval of whoever rules it, or you go to Stoink or some nefarious place and start doing it there.
I'll explain. I do.
And that means that if you start selling 6, 7 level spells to people that might be in opposition to IUs that runs the place and so on, he might realize that this is some idiot is threatening me here, or my sovereignty here. So you put using magic puts a target on your back, so to speak, meaning powerful magic stirs up powerful enemies. And
yeah, they're not using it. They're just all right. Well, that's a hypothetical. I'm just telling you what I got to put up with on a daily basis.
Well, yeah, and I would encourage it.
Abuse.
I would say, someone will go around trying to buy magic like that just to see who the heck is selling it illegally, and it's like FBI sting operations or something like that. It's like, yeah, you have to go around and see who wants to sell the state secrets in order to find the bad guys, so to speak. And I can see even good
more in finding
rulers.
he's got all the loot.
Yeah.
And Carlos has come across this too. He's tried every single trick in the book to get my guys, and it's like, I still remember the freaking water weird one. There's a water weird, and he's like, oh, look what I have. I have a Sweetwater potion. Dead.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's just like,
who remembers that trick too?
Exactly. It's just crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and you wonder why I make my modules so damn.
I know.
Yeah. But there's two ways you can handle this. You can either set these are the rules, and you can only get 2 spells and so on and so forth, or you can handle it thematically more like I do, and that's dubious and tricky, and it can seem unfair to players at times. So the rules way might be the best way for a lot of groups, because some players might not realize that when I'm start wielding or doing this stuff, I attract powerful enemies. So yeah, so there's pros and cons with both ways to go, so to speak.
So Greg, I'll say this, and I'm not trying to make Carlos eat his own words, but he said that I played one of the best spellcasters in that fundraiser that he had seen, just because, I've seen it all, so I know all the tricks from my guys.
But knowing the rules is probably the most important part of being a spellcaster. And so, if you don't, understanding the way that the game mechanics work, and house rules and things like that, that is really the key to being a good spellcaster.
Yeah. But in my opinion is that don't tell the players all the rules at once. Only tell the players the rules that they need in order to play. And then they need to research and discover. And I'm not talking about the rules on what actions you can take each round. But
you're talking about like in the world itself.
Yeah, exactly. And that there are hidden things on how magic works, meaning how would the type of magic, let's say they're an evoker and they can cast fire spells. Don't tell them that if they go to another plane or something, their magic will be enhanced or subdued or something like that. That's something that player have to say, oh, I want my character to go and study that in order to. So don't.
A little bit about the use of having a guild or a master.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep.
There's another good reason why is because they're the ones that tell you that kind of stuff.
Exactly. So meaning that the basics of spell casting, the player should know right away. If they play a first level wizard, yes. But all these intricacies or kind of weird behind the scenes stuff, the different spell schools and stuff like that, only start telling them that when they specialize in it, when they when they kind of start asking about it, and they say, well, then you have to go and talk to someone who knows about it, or you have to start researching it, or go there and figure it out, so to speak.
Anna, because I play in a first edition game, part of that doesn't necessarily work for me because as soon
Yeah.
as a character understands
Mhm.
detect magic,
Yeah.
right, they have to understand how schools work
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
because they're going to get that information.
So,
Yeah. So I'm more subtle with that. So
Yeah.
yeah.
so
And
I always,
Carlos, that's an important, because these things function differently depending on if you play first edition, second edition, third edition, Pathfinder, CNC, or some other 5e or some other rule system. These things are tweaked differently. So you need to look into it. And there's probably small aspect that you want to house rule for your game, so to speak, how different things work in regardless of what rule set. So pick the one that you like, and not only for
Absolutely.
Magic, but Magic is one, I think, vital component of any rule set, how Magic is handled, so to speak.
One thing I like to do in my games is that kind of it supplements what you're describing right over here is every single spellcaster in my game is very unique. They're very the way that their magic actually works in the game. There's no such thing really as a cookie cutter magi. And for example, I like it when my player characters will see a spell cast in the game and it looks familiar to them and they're like, oh my god, this person was taught by, or they're a member of the guild here, or they know these things through gameplay, and it really enhances the way that the game works. Because like, for example, if Morton Kanan were to teach you magic missile, your magic missile is going to be similar to his. They're going to see
Yep.
that, they're like, oh my god, this guy's a student of so and so,
Yep.
or
that's cool.
I think that those things are really
That's a good way to do
one
it.
of the ways to really enhance
Yep.
before, and other things too. Like for example, when you've got a magic user casting magic missile, maybe his magic missiles look like hummingbirds when they come through, and they look like bees or something.
And that
like
come and sting you, so to speak.
that.
It was,
They don't. Every spell does not have to look the same or
Yep.
feel the same, and I
That's a
think
great
that's
idea.
important.
Yeah,
detail.
that's great.
Not the
Yep.
bees.
That's one of the ways. That's one of the ways that you're, you can again, you differentiate certain spellcasters or schools from each other, or one. I think that those things are important. Like for example, somebody who specializes in illusion magic that casts burning hands. Okay, maybe his flames are black, or something like that, or maybe they're white, they're black and white, or something like that. Just little
Yep.
detail. And there are also clues for your player characters for when they see things down the road, and other ways to make magic users more useful and desirable for player characters to want to play.
It's a
Yeah.
good idea. It's a real good idea for especially
Yep.
allowing getting flavor in. It's
Yep.
really smart. Real
Yep.
quick, Dale. So Dale asked this question: what are spell points? And so if I'm being too nice of a guy, especially Ed Greenwood. You would think I wouldn't have to do it with Ed, but I do, and that is I let them spell point, like if they have 5 first level spells that they cast. It's almost like 5th edition. I shouldn't allow it for, but I want when I have an all-star game, it's an entertainment session more, right? So they want to cast 5 magic missiles, go for it, right? I'm not gonna. Wow, thanks, Wayne. I mean, it's really I'm selling out, right? But it's easier for them, it gives them a little more flexibility, and I'm okay with that. But I don't allow my regular players, to do that. So just so you're aware, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have many different modes of casting. First, I have 3 I call them conduits, ways you get magic. Arcane magic, you figure it out. You use your talents and your instinct, and you manipulate the world around you. That's arcane magic. Divine magic, you ask a powerful being to give magic to you. And primal magic is that you understand and tune yourself to nature. That's 4E from 4th edition. They use that 3-tiered or 3 conduits. They didn't call them conduits. That's just a word I kind of used to figure out where you get your magic from. And that depends, that affects when and where you can memorize and use magic, depending on if you go to a place where your god can't reach you, then you can't memorize, you can't ask your patron, so to speak, the power for magic. But an arcane caster might not have a problem with that at all, as long as there's enough D&D physics around they understand, they can cast their spells freely, so to speak. Primal caster, you need nature in order to do it. And so, but then there is ways you can cast your magic. You can have innate magic, meaning things that you learn as a thing, and you can cast a spell. Like Drow has certain things. Gnomes can learn an illusion. They can cast innate. They don't need to memorize it. They don't need components. They can just cast it like once a day or something like that. And then you have ritual casting. Those are the casters that they learn to read one scroll or one knot or whatever, and they can cast one spell very slowly, and they know what to say, so to speak. They learn each spell, and they're able to, and it takes all day. It can take an hour or two or whatever, but they can cast spells ritually, so to speak, and that takes forever. They're not combat casters, but it's great for village elders who wants to do divination and stuff like that. So shamans and things who wants to impress others by casting an illusion takes all day, but the whole clan sits around it, and it's impressive once it comes, so to speak. That's ritual casters. And then you have simple casters. They are the ones that they can't memorize spells. They shoot from the seat of the pants, and they use exertion. So they have a few points. They have like simple spell points, and exertions can be used for all sorts of stuff. But so they can't memorize, but they can learn a few spells and cast them. They need components though, and they need to learn each spell. And then you have the true casters, and they are either spontaneous. You learn individual spells, and you have spell slots. So you can say that I can cast 3 first level and 2 second level and stuff. And then you know certain spells. That the sorcerer from 2nd edition and 3rd edition and 4th edition. And then you have what I call Vancian casters. The ones that can memorize spells, have spell slots, they can read and write magic, they can have a spell book, they can memorize, and they can cast. The classic wizard from D&D, so to speak. I call them Vancians. So those are the different types. If you want to go all advanced, you can learn spells one or the other way. But some of them are like more for like orc shamans and village elders and NPCs, not for characters so much. They might want to learn an innate magic spell, for instance. Someone might want to, or they might get that because they are a drow or a gnome or someone else.
Thanks, Fuzz. Boom.
Yeah, but that's how I dealt with spellcasters, so to speak. It's a little bit more complex.
We do have a giveaway. It looks like we may get over level 3, so we'll have a second one, which will be a classic D&D reprint along with the William Henry Dvorak if we get to 3. So thank you. So all right, let's. We talked a lot of theory and a lot of rules here. Why don't we talk about some actual casters? How's that sound? And schools. And we're going to go through this book right below some things. Now the names have been changed to protect the innocent, if you understand what I'm saying. Right, but it really is a wonderful, wonderful publication here, and someone will be winning this in hard copy. So let's let me go to. All right, now look, I'm looking for it. Here it is. Spell Tome of the new. It's called. He calls it the Council of 8, which is really funny. You gotta give Will credit. He pokes his eye at WotC, and it's an OSR and. OSR and 5th edition, all these brand new spells. So let's go to one of the most popular ones here, and he's so basically a guy named a ripoff guy of Mordenkainen is trying to find a whole new group of spellcasters, and each of them have their own sphere, right? So let's go to the most popular one, the forming of the new council, and then just it's Hamlet, right? We'll go to Burn.
Hamlin.
yeah. So where did I go out of order already? Oh my God! Did he put these? I thought he put them in alphabetical order. He did not put them in alphabetical order. I'm gonna have to beat him.
Oh yeah, he did.
All right, Burn.
Let's start with Andreas.
Yeah. Burn.
Yeah.
Page 25. All right, so we're gonna. And sorry for you people who are 32, who are 5th edition. There are in here. We go to the OSR ones just because it's easier. So Abjuration, Burn from Hamlet. So. Yeah. So
spelled differently, but we know the guy. Yeah.
I also like the idea of cleric mages for human rights. So that's all I've done. Rick Phelps. You'll see a witch doctor tomorrow night. There you go. I'll just tell you that. So in the game, and he's made up a whole bunch of spells. These are of multiple levels. He's done a really good job with these. Kind of like the way Joe Block has really crushed it too. So it's really I tell you enroll in Anna's Magic class. Anna does a lot of good things. And Carlos and I do a little differently, but we're old school, and You can't teach an old dog new tricks, right, dude?
Yeah, and I will get back to that in the shout outs at the end. So yeah.
So Burn is an abjuration spellcaster according to what Will has done, and that's Burne. He had to change the name. He's right in. He's got the Tower of Rufus, and they're right in the village of Hamlet, and that's the reference that they come from. So, hey, yeah, Gary Carlos is on. We're gonna go on. Wow, Scala, thanks. Well, we're over where we get the second giveaway. So, Carlos, pick a wizard, not of the Circle of 8 that you wanted to talk about in Greyhawk. Could be anyone.
Non-Circle of 8 wizard, Kyrian Jelusian.
Beautiful one.
Oh.
That's an awesome one, and we just were right there. Karen Jelusian is the he's the head of the Society of Magi, right? Or is that no?
Or no, the university.
The University of the Arts, right? Yeah, I'm in the wrong section here. So tell us about Karen.
Well, Karen is one of the highest level spellcasters that you will find in the Flyness that is not affiliated with the you honor me, Gary. One of the highest level of spellcasters you'll find in the Flyness that is not affiliated with the Circle of 8. He is the boyfriend, sometime boyfriend, I should say, of Jalarzi Salavarian.
Yeah. Well, he's 6'3". He's buff.
Yeah, he's huge buff. He's charismatic as heck. Look at that 17 charisma.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the things that I think is interesting about Kieran is considering the fact that he is an 18th level magic user. Check out those magic items. There's not a whole lot that's there. I mean, you can assume that he got a lot of scrolls and potions and things like that, right?
Yeah.
Really, when it comes to permanent magic items, we're not talking about too much there. So he's we're talking about a dude that's got a 17 strength and he's just a very unusual spellcaster.
Yeah.
He doesn't fit the dusty old tome type guy.
He's got 17 wisdom as well.
And yet by the same token, he's not an adventurer.
Right.
There's a lot of things going on there. So it's interesting.
So although and Carlos and I have the answer to this. No, BB. I know you said that just to bust my balls too. No, Philidor does not count. He doesn't exist. Please, come on, man. He just did it on purpose. Robe of the Archmagi makes you super powerful for what reason? What ability does it do? I know Carlos and I know it. I want to hear what everyone else. What does a Robe of the Archmagi? White is for good. I think gray is for neutral, and then or black. No, or black is for yes. And then,
but there's one other one that's really important that you guys are nobody brought up right away.
Go
the
for
saving throw penalty against enchantment spells is
-4.
Brutal.
-20%.
Take that, boys and girls.
Absolutely,
I love it.
So
when I hit you person on when I'm wearing that thing, ooh.
So nice. if you have a hold person mage, which is -3 because you get 4 targets, that's -7 on your save. Charm monsters minus like
I would say against a humanoid creature.
Yeah,
you get it. You're done.
It's nasty. So magic resistance was 5%. Now that is based on an 11th level caster casting the spell. So if a 5th level mage throws a fireball at you, add 5% to 11 -5 times 5, right? So that's 30. So you have a 35% chance of just standing there and nothing happening to you.
Parking, right?
Yeah, and so that's where old school is really nasty. Having a 5% magic resistance is huge. But you're right, the negation on that is even nastier. So Adine had a weird thing.
Tyrion's a really cool character, though. Yeah. Going back to him mostly because he just does not fit the mold at all. He's very similar in that regard to Tensor as far as
and he's neutral good, so he doesn't put up with crap.
Mm-hmm.
So could it be that he is not in the circle because he's of good alignment and just didn't want to deal with it?
No, I think that Morton Keenan probably said no because of Jalarzi's presence. He didn't want Jalarzi to be distracted. In fact, I think he probably would disapprove of his dalliance with Jalarzi.
That is that's a great observation. And a good one to start off here rolling.
I know all the reasons why Morton Keenan rejects people from the Circle of 8. Believe me.
That's awesome.
Gary.
That's great. Yep.
True. And Sam, absolutely. All right, Anna, you want to throw out one?
I want to throw out one that is famous from Greyhawk history, and it's not one of the Greyhawk mages that I think should be remembered. And he's not mechanically in there. He doesn't have any spells named after him, but he is a very important mage in the history of Greyhawk, and that's Shandor. He was one of the most famous mages of the Grey Kingdom and a creator of its legal system. And he was yes, he's even the Undying,
Yep.
and he was a member of House Crandon, and he was a court mage during the Crandon era of the Grey Kingdom, when the Grey Kingdom was on its ascendancy. So he was very much one of the creators and doers of the Grey Kingdom. So
he's a child of Joy D, Dale says.
Yeah, exactly, child of Joy D. So he was like a super gifted talent and so on and so forth. And he enchanted the glowstones of Reldevin and stuff. So he's very involved in the history of Greyhawk, and someone should sit down and do some cool spells that he created too. I think will be kind of awesome.
On my list.
He's on your list. That's awesome.
Yeah.
As currently with Patreon right now, I'm detailing my spells of the month from various famous.
Okay.
Cool. Cool.
Yep.
That's a great one.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
The spinner.
Yeah. So that was my first one that I think should be mentioned. Yep.
All right. So let me go. I always will go back to characters I use in my campaign.
Okay.
All right. And we got to go to Harby. We got to go back, and we just got to talk about my favorite villain in my game, Alita Norbalos, the judge, because she is a spellcaster, lower level, but I pumped her up a little bit in my game, so she's got like 9th level ability. I think she's only got 5th or 6th in the Slavers reference, but like she's a wizard. So yeah, you don't want to mess with her. I mean, she's not overly anything special for a wizard. Her political connections and her awfulness is more important than being a spellcaster, but she is a spellcaster nonetheless.
Her awfulness.
Absolutely. Well, she's the one that she won between her, Michael Baton, and my Harby war and Civil War within, and she ended up winning. Badness. It was basically one evil 1A against lawful stupid 1B, right? And the party didn't care who won. They just wanted it over. So yeah, there you go. But I ignored the dumb version, put Northern Paladin in hell, which means a Miracle of Chaotic. You don't like a Miracle of Chaotic and Paladin in Hell, Dale? I was going to bring him up as one of them because he's a wild mage in there. You don't like that, do you? I thought it was cool that they made him a wild mage. So, all right, Carlos. Oh, he's your favorite. Okay.
I'll go with somebody that time has forgotten in my campaign because I run things in 600 CY, and that's Fiorana Estrelial.
Yes.
Alestriel, excuse me. She is used to be she was a Grey Elven diplomat from Nyrond.
Yeah. She's in From the Ashes.
Yes, and I thought that she was a very interesting character back in the day, mostly because of her different her stalkers. Actually, I thought that made her kind of interesting. Not necessarily her by herself, but people like
she's in front.
Yes, people like her were Karadicus Bobka, I believe, was
the
one who was infatuated with her, and I always thought that was an interesting kind of a dynamic between the two of them.
Yeah, so as you can see, she's the short, demure little elf there, but I wouldn't mess with her. That's a great one.
No, 14th level, I think, right?
Yeah. That's Peltar from Restonford. Isn't Peltar from Restonford, though, dual class assassin too, or am I remembering that wrong? Wild Mage with train, yeah. So, really good one there, Carlos. How many of those in those pictures are wizards? I think she's the only one. The rest of them some of them are priests, correct?
Yeah, that's the diplomats, though, the ambassadors to Greyhawk, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. Most of them are probably not wizards, but yes.
Yeah. but she is. So Nyron, an elf from Nyron. Do you think she?
Yeah.
Is it Celadon Forest and I always get them confused. Which one's in
Yes,
Nyron? Yeah,
yeah,
Celadon's
it's
in Nyron.
mostly in Iron.
Okay,
Yes.
yeah,
Hmm.
Jeff Styron.
Yeah.
really good one. Really good one.
Yeah.
You don't see.
I think Free City of Greyhawk had, or the City of Greyhawk supplement had so many of my favorites in them. I also loved Tobin Petrades, who had his Change Cat familiar,
Yeah.
the old man.
There's a lot. So that's a really good familiar too. And then there's the did you ever use a Magenta's cat? Because I know that was Roger Moore put that in an article in Dragon, and I brought it out one show, and he's like, "Oh my God, someone remembered that," because I don't think it's any other publication. That's a really cool one too.
Yeah, I never actually used that
Yeah, that's neat.
before.
Peltar was the court wizard. Okay, so Peltar was the court wizard. I always get him confused because I know there's a lot of dual class assassins running around and assassins not. So yeah, a cool one. All right, Anna, what do we got here? And then if you want to stop, if you don't want to do a person, you want to talk about a school and just talk about how you utilize it, we can do that too. Yeah, absolutely.
We have there's still some cool personalities.
Absolutely.
I'm going to stick with the Grey Kingdom because I think there's some cool ones there that are thematically interesting. And another one is Rilikandren. He is the high priest of Bokob, and he was the high priest of Bokob in Rossi's as the Great Kingdom fell. So, and he was a wizard, 9th level, 16th level high priest of Bokob. So
dual class.
So exactly, so dual class, but he was, and this is 2nd edition era. So even the Undying, late 2nd edition era. So and things had already started going off the rails into 3rd edition, kind of when that came out. So, but he's interesting in that sense that he was a neutral and he seemed to be some sort of arbiter because he became the enemy of the next guy I'm going to talk about next time I get her up. But I think he's interesting because he is the Bokob high priest, and which means that he's very steeped into arcane magic, so to speak. So he's definitely, in some ways, he might even be more powerful than an arch wizard because he's like an archmage with the clerical powers on top of it. So in that sense, he's Rilikandren is probably not someone you should mess with. And I don't know exactly what happened to him, but he's possessed the Book of Hours, so he can do some cool time magic. That was his specialty.
Really?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So does it say specifically what the time magic is?
No, it's just listed that and in the Undying. So we have to guess what that is, so to speak. So yeah.
I may have to look that up. Does anyone have a page number that he's available on Dale on Ivy the Undying?
It's page 38 in the standard the PDF that is well formatted of Ivy the Undying. So yeah. Mm-hmm. Because they're different, because they would never an official module, but someone made a PDF that make it look like an official module. So the originally was only a Word document that was published.
So,
but it's one of the cool ones that I think really ties into it, thematically interesting and has a place in Greyhawk history, so to speak.
The next guy you may not ever come across, because if you are like me and you don't do the nodes in the Temple of Elemental Evil, you'll never come across them. And this is one that Will decided I don't need to change his name, and he didn't, and that's Sargon. So, and he uses Sargon as the necromantic character. So he's one of those wizards that's lost in the nodes. I forget which node he's in actually, but and it says necromantic works. Once a captive of the infamous shrine of elemental corruption, that's funny. Owes his freedom to abandon daring adventurers whom he convinced that he was just a simple merchant captured by the shrine's denizens. So there you go. So look at this. It found solace in the declining town of Bulb. He's learning from you real well there, Carlos.
Yep.
Awesome.
Yeah. And then he moved to Flax. That's great. Oh, that is so funny. So we even worked with Warlord Torashmak, occasionally expertly navigating the murky waters of politics. As here amidst the Sargon's creatively truly blossom, become an expert of the realm of shadows and shadow magic. So I say shadow magic and necromancy are different, but that's okay with Carlos, with what Will has done here. That's fine. So, yeah, that's really neat. So, Sargon, and he's got a lot of necromantic spells here, which is cool. So go through this and within 5e and OSR. So, and it's good to see. I mean, this character's been around since '85 when Telonatu finally came out after 6 or 7 years of waiting. Right, one of the longest waits of my life.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
Yeah. I don't know which is worse. Here we go. I'm going to bust some stones. Me waiting for that or me waiting for Star Citizen actually to release?
Well, it's kind of been in pre-release in like, what is it, like 5 years or something?
No, like 10.
10. Well, it will probably another 10. It will go on, like, as long as they can milk money and keep doing what they do, they will do it forever.
Yeah, exactly. Hey,
but it's cool. I played it. It's cool. It's a cool game.
Yeah,
but it's not done yet.
I'm waiting for Squadron 42. I like the single player stuff.
Yeah.
So, all right, Carlos, what we got, man?
I'm gonna say, actually, I was initially going to bring up a magic user that Anna just referred to a little bit earlier.
Oh, shit.
Steal her thunder with that.
Yeah.
I'm going to bring up somebody else from the Great Kingdom who's kind of the boogeyman mage of the Great Kingdom. And all I'm going to say is 3 words: two-headed lich.
Oh, wow.
Are you kidding me? Cast spells with both heads at the same time? Nasty. Nasty.
What page is that on? And who is it?
Zane.
Zane. Oh, Zane. Oh,
he was on my list. So good. Yeah.
So
awesome. You stole the one from me. That's good.
Who created Zane? That's what.
That would be Rob Kuntz.
So it was Rob.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Okay. Where's Rob?
Who else would create such a horrific?
That's true. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. He's pretty nasty.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and it's spelled, is Zane actually in Ivid the Undying or no?
I think so. Yeah. Hang on a second.
I need to. I'll just go in order here.
He's referred to. I don't believe his stats are actually.
He's not.
He's referred to. Yeah. Like
Vayne, Vayne, different character.
Yeah.
That's why I made mention that he's kind of the boogeyman.
Same thing with Shandor. He's not stated in Ivid the Undying. Just mentioned from
he's just
Great Kingdom history. Yeah.
All right, so there's really
just like him or Linward the Spinner. He's also another magic user that's mentioned in Ivid that is not actually delineated. Although you're going to see a custom spell from him. I mean,
the court wizards of Rossi's or the Great Kingdom, they are an awesome bunch of really cool characters.
Really cool and deviously
from
awful.
Shandor all the way to the last one. Yeah.
Yes, you can lead the legend. That's funny.
Yes, Asher is correct. By the way, Zane is in
Fate of Istis,
but he's also more notably in Rob's in his Roxy's adventures that are done through Black Blade. So, Mies of Zane, thank you.
Yeah, Vayne is just a dumbass, and
yeah. He's a hapless wizard of yeah.
Absolutely.
Kind of. The poor guy who screws up all the time.
All right, Anna, where do you want to go?
I want to stay on we need to take the big, impressive court wizards of the Great Kingdom. And the last one, I think, if a two-headed lich sounds scary, we also have the last one. He's kind of scary in his way, and that's Karuk. I like the name, and he's a 19th level. I boosted him to 20th level in my Reldevin campaign. Yeah, he's in Ivid the Undying, and he's a real nasty character. He's a lawful evil, nasty dude who is he was the enemy of really Kendron and stuff. So and he's
Karluk, I'm right there. Okay, 19th level. Yeah, I see.
Karuk, or however you pronounce it. Yeah, and he is one of these really nasty critters that probably are part of why Ross disappears into this kind of weird planar mist or whatever it is he's spinning up, and we don't know if he exists or not, and he might be the one taking over the Great Kingdom, so he or something, so he's one of these big power players that is, I think, worthy of a campaign in itself. If you want to master villain and you don't want to go, you want to elevate some other character, then you don't want to go with Vecna or Death Knight or something from Ayus. Karulk is one you can. You can any of the Great Kingdom High Court wizards from history onwards, because you can always bring them back as a lich or some other whatever. So they are all worthy of master villain status. And Karulk is the last one to have that, knowing that we know who had that job, so to speak. He was at least publicly appointed. And he is one of the more nasty ones in the bunch, so to speak. And so they really, and I took his cat. I don't know if he had a cat, but I simply assumed he had a familiar. So I took that when Rossi's went under, his familiar fled and took up shop in a little village, and the cat was so powerful that he managed to expel all the little villagers and stuff and turn them evil. And when the party got there, they had a very righteous paladin who could sniff out evil in the village and started interrogating all the hapless villagers who were just expelled by this charmed or compelled by the cat, who was like a CR2 monster in itself that could cast innate magic and was evil as hell, just to because if you're the familiar of Karulk, then you become like a hellish cat and stuff. So it was a lot of fun. They almost ended with the murder of half the village, but they thankfully they figured it out what it was, and then they chased that damn cat around like crazy. That was fun. You had a fun encounter with that.
You would need one of Jay's Inquisitors.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, because Inquisitors
Yep.
can dispel anything.
Yep.
Right.
Yep. So you can kind of tie in and use the fame or villainy of it, master villain, and make a little spin-off history sometimes too.
I think Greg Justinius played an Inquisitor during the Slav Squad game at GaryCon. Is that correct? Am I remembering that right, Greg?
Would be very on brand for Greg.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so. Yeah, I'm almost positive he played an Inquisitor in that game. That was fun. All right, so I'm going to go off kilter just slightly, and you saw me prepping it up. In the Marklands, it refers to that Belvor, or in my world, Thrommel, the living version, has 4 court wizards, and they're all 18th level, and they're all elementalists. Yes, and so when this book came out, and I just make sure what page I'm on here. 9. Okay, when this book came out, Tome of Magic, I fell in love with the stuff they did in here. This is what I was like, specialty priests, and sorry for saying this, the shit in here was just I loved, and we immediately go, I don't want to do an invoker. I don't want to do an abjuration. I want to do these instead. Wild mages and then elementalist wizards. And so they are basically invokers, but they have diametrically opposed. Now I did them a little differently, but just note that there are a ton of them in my campaign, and that one of them, Alan's character, who's an elf, I have 2 extra spheres of elementalism. One of them's quasi, which is lightning, magnetism, and radiance. Wants to be the 5th wizard to join that, as he is a quasi elementalist, and he wants to. I think he's only 11th or 12th now. Get up there in 18th and join, and that's his goal in the campaign for him. So, Alamazad the Wise, which is a member of the Circle of 8, even though supposedly is an elementalist. Period, has all 4 elements. That according to Return to the 8. Now, whether that's true or not, you don't have to do it that way. So,
And a summoner too.
What's that?
He's also a conjurer.
Yeah, he's like almost everything. What is gamey for lore? Kind of gamey for lore. Well, you can blame Gary. You can always blame. That's a sergeant one, right? So no question you couldn't solve with a band of gnomish monks. That's funny. I'm funny. Yes, that's Carlos all the way, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So that's the one I like. Is let's go the elementalist realm, and it's something that
Oh man, you had to go there, didn't you, Gary?
Yeah, yeah.
Circle of 8. Nobody can talk about him on this show.
Yeah, I just talked about Alamazad the Wise on, which is new Circle of 8, not old Circle of 8.
No, we're banning Circle of 8 discussion if Warren is involved.
Yeah, that's fine because I'm not a fan. Yeah, I don't get him at all. So I guess they're like, oh, he's a character that exists, right? No.
no, no,
Yeah.
it's a personal thing. But anyway,
Oh,
it's
okay.
now.
Yep. Go for it.
I was gonna say I'm gonna go off the beaten path with somebody too. I'm gonna go with Glebe Warp, the Eye Biter.
Oh my gosh, one of the guys in the back of
And the reason why I'm gonna go with him is not
G
necessarily
G
because
series.
he's really a cool character and he's a high level mage. And I also profiled him in my Patreon not long ago. But also, if you read the Against the Giants Liberation of Jeff module, you'll see that he actually has his role is reprised somewhat because he's actually now a thrall of the giant. He's been
Oh, really?
his alignment has been changed by a magic item, and he's now
Oh, that's awesome. I did not know that.
yeah, so he's follow, it's like in the almost the very last pages of that book.
J- j-
Which makes
just
him a really interesting character. And as a footnote to that, I actually played that character in Alan Growe's
there he is, number 1 on here. And let me bring this up. I just wanted to find him somewhere, and I found him.
okay.
Yeah, but definitely in against it. Here he is. Original tournament characters, Gleep Warp. There he is, number 1. And then this, what is he? 9th?
No, 12th.
12. Oh, okay. Oh, he is 12th. Oh my gosh, I didn't even realize he was that high. Holy jeez. So.
Oh, and it gets better too in the like I said in the Against the Giants modules too. He's I want to say he's 14th there, but I might be mistaken when I say that.
So he's
They
neutral evil.
Yeah, he's neutral evil.
Wow, that's cool. Against the Giants, is that
Silver Anniversary.
Yeah, no. Who wrote that?
Reynolds, right?
Was it Reynolds? Okay.
I think so. That sounds right to me.
I thought it may have been the one who did Bastion of Faith.
Mm-hmm.
Anna, Bastion of Faith.
Yeah.
Who did that? He did 100 things during 2nd edition.
Nope, I'm right. It's Reynolds.
Oh, okay, it's Sean. Okay. All right.
Okay. Yeah.
You have Gleep Warp as your favorite, and I right here number 5 have Funkin' Heidi Peaks and Knight of Ulick. He's actually currently he's always second in command because he never wants to be in command. And so
I wish I would have known that previously because in the module I'm currently writing, which is an Against the Giants attaché, I was just commissioned to write this for GrogCon. I'm using the children of Funk and Hottie.
Oh, that's fine. That's funny.
Yeah,
That's great. Yeah,
he's in it.
I think he's 14 now. Fire Mage. I mean, you figure this came out what in the 80s because he's in the original G1, right? So the character's as old as my Greyhawk Adventuring. So he's been around a long time, and also he's like it was always like and Lawful Good seems weird. I think I had him Chaotic Good. It just doesn't fit. But I had him as a bane to player characters, one of those characters that like always would give the player characters crap when they needed it. So yeah, that's a good one. Gleep Warp, man, that's funny. Yeah, that's cool.
I got interested in him, like I said, when I played him in an Alan Growe Castle Greyhawk game.
Yeah.
And had him as a character, so I got interested in him then.
And it's good to see that Reynolds and all the others went back and paid homage to those characters and used them. Yeah, really cool. Anna, what do you got?
We talked about all the evil mages, or I mentioned all the evil ones from the Great Kingdom. There's some more good guys too, and he's listed either as good or neutral, depending on. In even the Undying, he's neutral, but in other places he seems to be more on the good side, and that is Prince Carvend of Crandon of Reldevon, and he's a 13th or 14th level wizard depending on the sources, and he is more on the good guys, so to speak. Reldevon is more the kind of the bright spots alignment wise in the former Great Kingdom, and he runs Reldevon. He's a prince of and he's since he's a Crandon, he's part of that house that once ruled the Great Kingdom, but now is delegated to only run one of the more important provinces, so to speak, of Great Kingdom. And he's also the head of the city of Reldevon that has a kind of a glorious past as a place of magi. They have a school and society of see, they're supposed to have secrets, magical secrets stored in, and they have a whole bunch of old wizards that we don't know if they are liches or alive or whatever. So there are some rumors about Reldevin and its old
cool.
wizards that no one sees, and they're supposed to sit on magical secrets that so on. So it seems like Reldevin and Prince Carven, he's holding on to some stuff just as a secret weapon, so to speak, meaning don't mess with me because we have potent magic we can use, so to speak. And so he's an interesting character, so to speak. He could be great as a quest giver, someone who if the characters are loyal to him, might help them, and he has considerable resources. He's also neighbor to Savener and Karlstrand. Then he's if you run after the fall of the Grey Kingdom, then Prince Carven is a province ruler in under the Prince of Karlstrand, but he might also be one who looking to replace him, so to speak. So there you have, and he's more of a politician than a wizard. He's a fairly powerful wizard, but he's a way more powerful in politics than he is. He uses his arcane arts to keep his mind sharp, so to speak. He doesn't go around throwing spells that much. He's the one that organized political campaigns and stuff like that. He's a political power player in the Grey Kingdom. He was born 535, so he's at the end there. He's in his 70s, and he's kind of a very much a power player, very much a political figure, and a decent spellcaster. Yeah.
I'm going to bring something up. So Carlos, skip me and go to you next, and then I'll come back to me.
Yeah.
I would go with the Grey Seer of Nairon.
Oh.
And the reason I'm going to pick the Grey Seer, not only are we talking about a 17th level specialist diviner here, we're talking about a guy who is he's this super stereotype character, and obviously, you know, he's this kind of like an old soothsayer type, but he's got these dangerous depths to him that will catch player characters off guard. And he is in that area, he's a great vector to adventure for your player characters, to bring him in there, because he's got his own agenda totally going on. He's definitely an interesting character.
That's a good one.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
What reference can he be found in mostly? Marklands as well. Yeah, that's great. I am having trouble finding this because I did a cleanup. Here we go. I found it finally. Can't believe I got so many things open. If I crash, everyone, I apologize, but I got so much up. I got to close a couple things. So let me close. I'm going to close Evident Dying and for now. There we go. Okay. So let's go back to the original folio. Right. No one's named in here, but we know what all the leaders are. We know what classes they are.
See where you're going with this.
I fell in love with using the Queen of Selene. I know. Gary's like, she's a bitch all the time, right? No, because in my game in 1980, we just knew her by her title, Lady Ralta.
Yeah.
We didn't know that her name was Yola until like second edition. Right?
Yep.
Or maybe even it came out in the 83 box set, the evil Yola.
No, she's not evil.
You guys are all whacked. You guys are whacked.
And she's on the latest, the future edition of Player's Handbook. She's on the Player's Handbook cover. So, yep.
Yeah. I have her.
I thought we were legally forbidden from talking about that.
Oh, I just mentioned her. So, yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's so funny.
I don't think we're legally bound anyway whatsoever, but if Wizard of the Coast were concerned, or if they could set the rules, we would probably had to talk about it. So yeah.
Thanks, Jingo. I don't know why. I don't know why it didn't come up. That's really bizarre.
Lashton of GREYHAWK. That's an awesome one. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I have her a little higher level.
Yeah.
7/14, I think, or 8/14 fighter mage. So she's got some power
Yeah.
about her. Yeah. So
And I agree with you, Jay. Yep, she's not an evil bitch.
no,
She's
no, they're just
yeah.
all being weird, man. It's
Oh
okay.
yeah.
I understand your craziness out
No, but
there.
it's elves, and elves
Uh,
have always had a
I,
bad rep
you know,
yeah.
someone
Yeah.
out there is calling her evil that made Kosh
Yeah.
a freaking halfling. So
But that's a
do
cool
we put
twist, though. You
that
can
into
it's yeah,
perspective, right,
yeah,
Sam? Just busting your stones. That's
She's
all.
yeah.
she
So
is largely misunderstood because she cares only about elvish
But
concerns.
all evil just say that they're misunderstood. If you
All
just
she
see it from my point of
shots are
view,
working, but
yeah.
I don't. Yeah.
all she
So,
cares about is
thank you,
is
Jingo.
things. Everybody else can go pound salt as far as
Mhm.
that does not make her evil. That makes her concerned about her people per se.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mhm.
And
Is it-
the unique relationship that Celine has with the Order of Ulick is that's their strongest ally over even the Ulick's other Ulick states, especially the principalities.
yeah, Rich. I thought that was obvious.
You, Gary, I was just come on, everyone, even
I
Anna's
used
laughing,
it
so
too.
it's okay.
Oh yeah, yeah. We talking about fictitious
We're talking about fictitious
characters.
characters here.
Yeah,
Yes.
and we also said that they were misunderstood, so to speak. But
Yes.
because I think
Yes.
she's great and
I think he's
awesome,
busting my
and
stones
so
too.
yeah.
I
Yeah.
like the character a lot, and just because I molded her into
Yeah.
a non-reclusive leader,
Same
and
here.
all that
Yep,
stuff.
same here.
So
Yep.
there you go. So
Yep.
suck it.
Never
We
used
have elevated her enough that we've earned our rights to
Exactly.
play
So
games
there you
a bit.
go.
Yeah.
about 40 years. I've never used her once.
That's okay.
I have used her a couple of times, and because I like her so much. So yeah.
Yeah, she's an honorary member of the Order of Ulick because
See, there you go.
absolutely, her and a couple other high-level, super
She's
high-level.
made it. She's made it. She's an
made it.
honorary. See,
So-
I even have a character who's an honorary member of the.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. See,
I do
me and Jolande.
That's it. That is
I
her.
made it. Yes, it's like
Yeah, I have no such character that is an honorary member.
that's awesome. So now I can feel really proud. That's an accomplishment.
There are a lot of
Yep.
all-star characters who have members in the Knight Order of Ulick now. A lot of them.
Yeah, oh yeah, but Yolande and my
Yeah.
character, so I'm good.
We'll stay away from Ed's character. Plays a neutral character in my game, so Ravalantar. So but
Yep.
she's an obvious Galadriel illusion. So
Kind of,
Gary,
yeah.
that's possible. That's very possible, but you got to take what you have. As a 12-year-old kid, I take what I have, and I don't Galadriel. I don't connect that in my brain. That isn't where I connect it. So I just liked elves back then.
I've done some tweaks to elves. We need to talk about that some other. I've talked about it before. So my elves are very different from Tolkien elves. So yeah.
Yep. Carlos, go back to you again, man.
Okay, I would like to go with another character from the Marklands, and I was hoping to bring this up when Van Malku was around because I know this is a favorite of his.
Nyrond.
To be Karast, the water elementalist mage.
Yeah, see, there you go, an elementalist, beautiful.
I think that he's interesting because when we think about people who play elementalists, we don't really think about people generally tend to play fire, and
I agree.
And I like the fact that they came up with somebody that was high profile that was a water elementalist. And he's also got such very visceral quirks about him, like how he speaks sort of sucking in his lips. I think that's interesting.
That is good. That is a good quirk. What's first name again?
That would be Karast. Kurast.
Karast.
K.
Yep.
There, I found him. I'll bring him up.
Yeah, he's an older man, kind of a little bit obsessive, and he's got some bizarre behavioral traits to him. I just think when you meet that character, he's one of those kind of characters that your players don't forget.
So I like the reference in here.
Not necessarily because you're in combat with him, just because he's interesting.
I love that it says here he's actually visited the hanging glacier of Alcedran, and there's many other such wonders, which means which shows you, he's 70, he's old man. kind of acting a little nutty. So,
Yeah.
which is great. But
I like how he treats the Nyrondelle around him as like his pet. I think that's interesting.
you're so precious.
Yeah, you're so cute. Oh, you're so cute. And it also means, but that also means that he's very protective of them too. So woe be it to you if you're coming over the border and messing with his people.
Trivia question. In my game, counting, we're going to count NPCs. What's the most popular elementalist?
Uh, I have no clue, but I'm gonna just go off. I'm just gonna go off the track and say air.
That's the least.
It
I
is.
think you talked about Earth several
Earth.
times. So yeah,
Earth elementalists are freaking nasty because they get a lot of enhancement spells, stone skin, sand skin, all and a lot of like bolts of stone, all sorts of really cool things. And then second's quasi because a lot of people like throwing lightning bolts around and morning cannons. What's it called? Destructive resonance and all that. So people, and you're right, Carlos. People get away from fire because like, oh, everyone's going to play fire, right? So there's a few of them, but there's not as many as you would think. So yeah, Earth is number one. Water is like back, but air's the least.
I would think, it's interesting that you have a quasi class because to me, I would think that each of the quasi planes would have an individual type of magi. Like you would be a radiance mage or or you would
Spells.
be a steam mage or whatever. Or you
So
would be,
that's para.
yeah, or I know, but I was just thinking about all the different semi-elemental planes. I would think each one of them would be their own thing. So I think it's cool that it's interesting that you
Yeah,
group.
and the only reason I would do that for every single one, Carlos. It's spell lists. There's not enough.
Yeah, I get it.
So
I
for
get
like parry, you got salt, smoke.
it.
What'd you say? What's it?
salt
Steam.
wizard sounds like kind of boring.
What's that? Yeah, just the salt.
Salt.
Well,
Yeah,
all
poison, I
slime,
guess.
all
Yeah,
those are in the
that's
para.
true. Yeah, yeah.
It's like instead of flesh to stone, go flesh to salt. Just stuff like that.
Did
You
they
can
get
also kind of tie it into poisoning a bit. You can kind of, yeah.
That's a good Gary. That's a good question. That's a real good question. My guys did not, but I'll tell you where it did. The Airbender. Tim created an Airbender class for his kid for D&D. So he has it. He actually has Airbenders. So yeah, he actually made that class up. So that's a great question, though. All right, Anna, you're up.
Okay, let's go with an old one we talked about in the previous Legends of Lore, or maybe we did it this Sunday. One from history. If you want a villain that is a wizard, and I think a fire elementalist specialist, and that is Caraptus.
Oh,
He's we need to mention him because he's one of these that you can bring back from we can come back again, so to speak. And he wrote the Puronomicon back in the day, so to
That's a
speak.
good
So
one.
he's a fire. If you want to have a fire specialist that can come back and haunt you, that haunt the party or something, look into Caraptus. He's an arcane user of note, and he's 2,000 years old. Yeah.
Is he older than Vecna? Or is it about the same?
Roughly about the same age, I think.
Okay.
Roughly about the same age. I think I think he's a little bit older. A few, but somewhere roughly in the same. No, I think he's older than Vecna. Thinking of it, yeah, I think he must be older than Vecna. By a few hundred years.
Let's keep it on adventure modules real quick, and let's go to Ghost Tower of Inverness. There's a wizard in there called Hodar. So what did Will do? He switched it, and he's a diviner type. So he switched it to Hador and just switched the vowels around. So and Hador has a bunch of divination spells. So he created and this character, like I said, he took characters right out of obscure, modules, and well, it's not an obscure module, but an obscure wizard in a module. So there you go. And this is right from Ghost Tower of Inverness, which I thought was cool. They did that, and that's his diviner for this book. Hador, a lot of spells, and I have not culled through this yet. But let me tell you something. We haven't done Leomund, by the way. That's true. Leomund was never a Circle of 8 member. And we're allowing Leomund to be a GREYHAWK mage too, but I just don't think it's really gonna be one that's that popular because it's a lot of extra dimensional storage or extra dimensional hideouts and things, but which is cool. But I just don't think it'll work for our game. So there you go. Another one there we can talk about. So, Carlos, what you got is here? Is we're on blitz mode here. Get see how many we can get in.
If we're gonna start talking about bad dudes like Caraptus and Vecna and people like that. Well, first of all, your mentioning of Ghost Tower of Inverness made me think of Galapdrital, but the first thing I was gonna mention was Kerman Mindbender, who I'm gonna
Yes.
put right up there with.
He's in my on my list too. So yeah.
He's right up there with Marquesa as one of my favorite
Mhm.
villains. Because boy, is he a nasty piece of work.
Mhm.
And we talked about him during just on Sunday too, as well.
Yep.
So he's the one that tries to steal the Codex, correct? Of Infinite Planes in the storyline. Is that true?
Yeah, he's kind of he's so screwed up. You could probably almost take anything weird and attribute to him. I
And
think.
if I
Yeah.
recall, too, in I is the Evil, he also is the one that the others don't trust the most. Is that correct?
Yeah. Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah, they're looking at him and they're like, "You're gonna screw us over," which that's a lot saying from Cac Evil to Evil, But I know there's a picture of him with his turban on.
hmm
Right at their priesthood should be coming up here.
And by the
Wait,
way,
I
take
went past it.
his physical statistics too. He's got some crazy physical statistics for a mage as well.
It's all the way at the end. I thought it was up front. Yeah, there it is. There he is, Kerman Mindbender. And there's Null too, another one, Archmage, right there next to him. So
Yep.
Yeah, crazy.
Jumper right over there too, if you want to consider illusionist.
Yeah, Jumper's there, and then I think it's Mescaline, isn't it? There, that one.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's a good picture.
A lot of cool. And IU's has a surprising amount of wizards working for him.
Yeah, and Vane's one too. And Vane was demoted.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he's the hapless one that screws up, and he gets to keep the job because I think they need a scapegoat. So the other ones make sure that he's on the job because they always have someone who performs worse than they do or something.
Yeah, Nalzo's another one. Serac, yes, some super high level powerful ones. Lysandra, I can't. Lysandrin's great, but I can't go there. That adventure just I want to pluck both my eyeballs out with that module.
Yeah.
So,
but you might revive him some other way. So yeah.
It's a good one too. All right, so Anna, what do you got?
I got one that is more political, just like Carven, that is more political, but definitely wizard. And she is wizard level 14 as well. So she's kind of up there in levels, but she's more political than arcane, so to speak. But still, I think worthy a part of GREYHAWK history and current history too. And I'm talking about her noble brilliancy, the Countess of Ernst, Belisica. Yeah. Ballistic of Ernst, that is a wizard 14th, and I think a political high flyer, just like Prince Carvent. She is a political high flyer who arranged things high in diplomacy and stuff like that, and so her spell casting is not what she's really known. Her profession is politician and ruler way more, but she know the arcane arts really well, so to speak. So she has that to fall back on. So yeah.
County of Ernst.
Yep.
In the original 1980, the Countess of Ernst was a fighter 16th level, so it had to be changed.
Oh yeah, yeah. She was added in from the box set. I think she was added in. Yeah.
That's cool.
She's been on since that. So yep. She's really cool, and she is also part of the Gord books. She's depicted in the Gord books a bit too, and stuff. So yep.
Drax of Roaster is a name level wizard. I don't know Drax.
Yeah, and she's chaotic good, which is kind of an interesting alignment too, is that you can kind of she goes a little bit on the whim. I mean, she has a good heart and she can go in various directions, and she take liberties, and she's also that on the borderline of IUs and siege and stuff like that. So she can do a lot of clandestine stuff, so to speak, under the table, and she plays more than one game, so to speak. And I have her as a smart kind of political player extraordinaire. Yeah, countries, they change rulers now and then. So yeah.
Yep.
I think
So
she's a great invention and addition to the lore.
I'm going to go with, if I can find one of
Oh,
my
come on, Gabriel, you just took my next one, damn it.
the
Okay.
striped mage.
Oh,
Yeah,
I never heard of them. Or
I
yeah.
was gonna go really obscure and go Stripe Mage.
Oh, but Carlos, please fill us in. Yeah.
Yeah, that's okay. Go ahead. I'll think of somebody
Well,
different.
for me, I am going a another. You know me with dual classing, but I'm going right here. I'm going into the Fellowship of the Torch, and that is
Oh.
their leader, Nastasia Ariani Nightstar. She's dual class fighter mage, so she got both abilities. And you know, she's the one that wields the Torch of Anaxander. Not a super high level, but less like a really cool character. I just, you know, because it's rumored she has elven blood. She's not a half elf, but there must be elven blood. Her ears have very slightly pointed upper surfaces, and they, you know, the shape and color of her eyes are virtually unknown among humans. So, you know, just something a little different there, because it's always good needs some, uh, you know, some inclusion here. And then if in the same group here is they have an illusionist. Marie Senfort. Now she's category with character neutral tendencies, but you know, she's a little bit higher level, and this is at the beginning, so they're a little bit, you know, they're much higher now, probably 10th or 11th. But
Right.
yeah, so they have, look, white robe of the arch magi. She has one. Yeah, it's kind of nasty.
Yeah.
As an illusionist, ring of visibility to have disguise, so she is a master of deception there. So there's two for me
Okay.
that are spellcasters. Go ahead, Carlos.
Well,
They're throwing
to
out a lot of great
somebody
shit.
asked about where the Stripe Mage of Greyhawk came from.
Yep.
There is really obscure published reference to him in Outdoor Geomorphs, Volume 1. The inside cover of the book is got the Mage's Striped Tower, his tower location, MageNet. But I was going to bring up one that since Mike isn't here tonight, I would be remiss if I didn't bring up his boy, Eli Tomaras.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Eli is, you want to talk about another one that is a really nasty piece of work, another great Greyhawk villain.
Mm-hmm.
I used him in my To the City of the Elder Gods module, and he's a major part of all the Mauer Castle stuff that was done by Rob Kuntz that was so amazing. And
Definitely.
Eli is a great example of Rob's design aesthetic too, because he is so non-standard as a mage. He's got all kinds of weird abilities that you would never be able to see if you were just going strictly by the book. So he's a very interesting character on a lot of levels.
So, does he first appear in Mordenkainen's Fantastic Adventure? Is that his first appearance in WG5 or whichever one that one is? Okay, that's his first appearance, and then well, Abby Dalsum, yeah, that was my next one coming up because it's like we don't know anything about him. So yeah, that's a good one. So and then as they developed more and more levels of Castle Greyhawk, especially in the dungeon adventures, you know, and they did that entire Eli Tomaros edition, and they added level after level. He actually gained more and more power. Correct.
Right.
So up to, do we know his current level? Is he 18th, 20th, 20? You know, beyond that or rough?
No clue. I
Okay.
have him at 16th in my in my
Okay.
Elder Gods module.
And he's the villain.
Yeah. Well, no, he's not the villain, but he is a villain in there.
Villain. Okay.
You're basically pursuing his path through there. You would end up confronting him in this sequel to that module.
Excellent.
Mhm.
Anna, what do you got?
Another one from history. I'm not sure. Yeah, well, we'll see how villainous or stuff he is, but he was named the One Possessed back in history, and the last mage of power, or the magus.
Oh boy.
Yeah. And we're talking about, if no one understands, well, this is a hard one, so to speak. And I'm talking about Slerutin the Wily, the one that helped getting the Soul out. He's the one of the last mighty spellcasters from the
You're gonna get Rich all
last
excited in chat by saying
exactly. I was going to say, yeah. Rich, this one is for you. So yeah. So I think it's worthy of mentioning, so to speak, because he's one of these named wizards of Greyhawk history and lore. So we don't know exactly
He
how
was the people.
powerful
That's funny,
he
Rich.
was, more than he was very powerful.
For my money, he is
Yeah.
the most powerful magi ever to live on Oerth.
Okay.
Okay, there you go. Yep.
At least in my campaign,
Yeah.
I have him as the number one.
Yeah, he pulled off some really
Huh.
cool stunts. Yeah, in his career, so to speak. And it's cool. And he apparently had one spell to his name, Slerutin's Fortitude.
Not if you read my Patreon.
Okay,
There
there
you
you
go.
go. Then he has more spells to his name. That's
Yes,
Beautiful.
awesome. Yep. I should have mentioned. Yeah, I should have
Oh,
remembered that
Sam
because I
thinks he's
think
a
I've
gnome.
downloaded.
That's funny. Oh,
There.
that would be great. That would be fantastic there, Gary. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Virtual
Yep.
Greyhawk Con. That would be perfect. All right, so I'll do an honorarium for Abby Dalsum right now, who has one spell in the Tome of Magic, and that's the only place that you can find him. Period. And then I think from that point, it got. Let me see if I can find it. It's 8th level, if I recall. What Necromancy 8. I'm right there. One sec. 9th. Oh, good. It's all pink. Oh, look at this. What an anomaly this is. The page is pinked out. That's weird. Abby Dalsum's Horror Wilting. So then Mike made up a whole character based on it, and I went one further. Virtual Greyhawk Con 1. Abby Dalsum was played by Tim and me. Remember, Tim was there. And what did he have, Anna? Or what was he seeking in that adventure? With Eric Mona was there. And Luke. And that's the adventure I also told Luke he couldn't shoot a Melsas arrow 300 feet.
Yeah. I was in that adventure and I forgot.
Yeah, he had it was the tongue that he ended up stealing. In the
that
first
was
place.
the tongue, yes.
Yeah, that adventure, and that was
Mhm.
Nazim bin Khalifa, who was
Yep.
a protege of Abby Dalsum. So there you go. There's my ode to in the spellcasting world.
Awesome.
So yeah.
Yep.
So there you go. And I got to get off this pink page before my eyes burn out of my head here. Holy jeez.
Explodes.
Yeah,
well,
explodes.
It's Pride Month after all, so yeah.
Yeah, but I was like, wow, that's crazy. Quellish is a cool steampunk by Clunish mage. Ignore that Watsy married. Well, didn't in Cannibal's publication isn't that there, right? There's nothing wrong with pink. It's just that it hurt my eyes to try and read it. That's all. It was on a white page. There was nothing wrong with pink. I used to wear pink shirts all the time.
To be honest,
when I
I don't
going
like
out.
pink much, but I like it politically, but not so much in reality.
Yeah, I'll do that. I'll do that all day long wearing pink shirts. Yeah, that just I can't see. All right, Carlos, what do you got here? I'm gonna link Cannibal Publishing because I think the Qualish one is right here, if I recall.
Interesting fact about the color pink. They did a research on it.
I'm a Qualish.
Painting jail cells, the insides of them pink.
Calm them.
For a while, they actually calmed down the prisoners, but then they made them more aggressive than any other.
I was just going to say,
after a while,
Yep.
Interesting thing about pink. I also had to wear a pink jersey for a year when our coach was infatuated with the Calgary Hitmen. But anyway.
Oh my gosh, really? Oh man.
Pink and black Calgary Hitmen jersey.
Oh, I can imagine the razzing you got from other hockey teams.
Can't even imagine.
Oh.
I'm going to go with the wizardess Shemia, who is from the Rary the Traitor book. She has a tower called the Tower of Sleep. She's an ancient wizard who is her tower exists partially in the astral plane in the book. She's an interesting character because she's good aligned and she lives in the nearby presence of Rary. So if you are doing the Rary the Traitor thing in the Bright Desert, so she's pretty interesting. She actually knows some stuff that she's interested in lifting the curse of Shadowdos. So interesting character.
Interesting, yeah, definitely. All right, rhetorical question for
now. If you guys really want me to get obscure, damn it, we're gonna get obscure.
Well, I want to ask this question because you said Slorotin, but let's assume Living Greyhawk didn't kill everyone off. Okay. All right, we'll make that assumption. Give me if you can, Carlos, your top 3 power mages, power rankings.
In order:
Yeah.
Slarotin, Zagig, Igwilov.
Okay. Living currently that's not demigod deity status. Like Rari, Mordenkainen.
I would say Rary, Mordenkainen, and then probably, good question. I would say probably
It drops off after
it
those
might
2.
be Karluk
Okay.
from the over in the Great Kingdom.
Okay.
He might.
But it really drops off after those 2. In like the living not deity status
He
characters.
drops off that sharply.
No, Philidor the Blue doesn't exist. No, I don't want to see that. Oh my god. Colorless
There's
Major Power Land.
a lot of undead magi that would, unfortunately, I really wish, Gary, I could say I was, but I'm right up there with Warner's Starcoat. We're about on the same level, which is at least one tier below Old Morty. But yeah, Tensor wouldn't necessarily,
No.
not too far behind.
But still a drop off.
Still a drop off. But I would say that you've got some some of the liches that are up there.
Liches, yeah.
Like if you consider that Serac is still alive, he's probably right on up there.
Okay. Because when just a notation, when I did Ravenloft 2, Azalin was like, I was like, oh my god, this Lich is super high powered. I know that's just like, and he got Recton in the Greyhawk and all, but I was shocked. Like when that adventure was like, oh my god, I think it was like at least 18th, maybe 19th level for that adventure. That was super high in that. So I understand how Liches keep gaining levels according to when English going to let you cannot gain levels anymore unless you're super special Lich. Rich, there you go. I don't know. I just made that up. So. All right, let's each do one more. Why don't we do that? Anna, go first, then go Anna, Carlos, and me, and then
okay. We have one that is from Even the Undying. It's an unending source of cool arcane wizard types, and this guy is a prince of House Crandon. I talked about him earlier in a previous episode a few weeks ago, I think. Prince of House, he's a necromancer, he's a vampire, 15th level. I'm talking about Prince Ferdinand, or Ferdinand. And he's a black splinter. He's really cool. He's a 200-year-old vampire that is tied in. If you want to have a Strahd-like character, a villain in your Greyhawk game, Ferdinand is your guy. He has a Shadwell, I think, is his assistant, another vampire that is like a 12th level necromancer. So they're a powerful duo. And Prince Ferdinand, he raised Duke Zephyrin, and that something happened there that was really bad. So the only person that Ferdinand really fears is Duke Zephyrin. And so he is a really cool character, so to speak. At Black Splinter, you can run as the most horrific vampire layer you can imagine, but he is also a guy that he wants to stay away from his enemies and stuff. So he's not the one that lashes out and kills everything. And he has a rapport with Prince Carven. They have an understanding that Prince Carven keeps the intruders out of the Rel Devon, and he stays in Black Splinter and doesn't cause any more damage, so to speak. So he's that evil uncle that everybody hates in the family, and he but he's still part of the family, so to speak. So it's an interesting, you can use as a quest giver, villain, or maybe even someone who might be weirdly enough on the side of the party. So he has a lot of campaign potential, so to speak, in different ways. So he's an interesting dude, and a 15th level necromancer. So you might raise him up if you run 598 game. He might be 16th or 17th level, so he's not to mess with likely, so to speak. So you can do some cool stuff. So he's one I want to promote as a possible villain, and other stuff too. He's a complex character.
Excellent.
Okay.
Carlos?
Okay. I'm gonna go with one. There's a it's a character that a lot of people have been doing a lot of interesting things with lately. It's really, as far as I know, it's not explicitly within canon, but Asperities the Lich,
Yeah.
who in the GDQ modules it is a very powerful Lich spellcaster that I've often been interested in. Matter of fact, trivia question, way back when, he was my monster of the month for my very first month of my Patreon,
Oh
like 4
wow.
years ago. Yeah, so he's way back when. Um, so yeah, he's a good one. The Weird of the Gnat Marsh, since we talked about Warren Starcoat, is an interesting spellcaster who we don't know much about, but can be assumed to be extremely powerful. I used a little bit of her background in a mini module that I ran at GaryCon that I will probably be releasing in the future. So if you guys want to know some stuff about the Weird of the Gnat Marsh, I'll be doing some stuff with her. Um, and yeah, so
Wow.
those are two of them I really like. And I'll throw one yeah, and I'll throw one last one out there, which is Queen Alyssa the Enchantress, who is a incredibly powerful spellcaster from days of yore back
Yeah.
in who I have as the creator of the very first figurines of wondrous power.
Yep.
She's created those initially, but she and I gave her that background, but mostly because we know about her Nightingale, which is similar to such an item.
Oh, I think it's great. And another one we should add from that era back in the day is Loom the Mad, the Phrygian invoker that of renown, so to speak, that is part of ancient history, just like Alyssa. Yep.
I'm going to go really off the board for my last one because it's one of my favorite. And if I do my top 5 adventures of all time shorts, I may put this one in like number 5. And that is Ravager of Time, I8, Nuala. What an awful. She's up there with Marquesa. Not as high, but no one can be as high. But she's the one that will suck your living life force out to make herself young here. Nuala, Mistress of Lorge. Dual class, I guess slightly dual class human here. I think she's fighter second, mage 14th, which is really weird. 15th would have familiar, so she's 15th and just has that ability to actually pull out your life force and to keep herself eternally young. What a nasty adventure that is, and one of my favorite ones to run of all time because it was just so frustrating for the player characters because they had to start out with 30 days left of life. So if their death on their character sheet says 106, they're 105 and 11 months old. That's what happens to them in that adventure. It's really cool. So yeah, Nuala.
Somebody else that I know is a favorite of yours that you didn't bring up, probably because you weren't thinking of her as a wizard per se, but she is capable of casting magic user spells, not innately, and that would be the Falcon.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Because she's dual class. She's a priestess of Ayuz and a spellcaster. That's a good one. Yeah, yeah, definitely. That was fun. Redoing that and having that the fundraiser event. That was a fun time. Just doing all the different things. I'll never again, man. Putting all those adventures together. Yeah, yeah. Baltrin of Beacon fame.
Next month on my Patreon, you get to find out what happened to one of her eggs.
Oh.
Adventure is called A Matter of Legacy.
Let me see here. I've shouted it out a couple times, but so we've been shouting out Will's. We're going to shout out Carlos's too hardcore here. So please check out Carlos's Patreon. It's worth it. Absolutely worth it. Of course. All right. So I know you guys all in chat were shouting out a whole bunch of them, which is great, and we just wanted to spitball some here, have fun with this discussion. And Carlos is in chat, was like, "Hey, dude, hop on." And Carlos,
thank you so much, Carlos.
Yeah, I wasn't prepared for class today, so I hope I conducted myself.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Oh, you did. You did the best. You were best of all of us. Yeah.
That is the fun part to it. Absolutely. Yeah. So and there's other ones here, just so you know. The spellcasters in Will's book, Dread Delgath is the original name. Slave Lords changed to Dread Delgrin. Hidgard from Saltmarsh is changed to Hildegard. We got Nassau Dromus. which is Dwellers of Forbidden City. He's changed it now. Dralmus. Fanstern from Slave Lords is changed to Fenstern, and so there's a couple of the other ones that are in there, and that will be the giveaway for tonight. And then second winner will also get their choice of old
Gary,
school
you get to see a
classic.
Jockskew twice after there too. Once in Dragon Magazine, he appeared
Yeah.
in the Earthly Abyss, and he also appears in my newest module that's upcoming that I'll talk about at the end of this.
Well, beautiful. Why don't we do shout outs now? And go ahead, Carlos. Shoot. What do you got? What's going on?
Well, I am busy, as you can imagine right now. I just finished, well, just a couple days ago, we released the newest module, which was the end of the Sanguine Labyrinth, Dungeon of Bleeding Walls trilogy, which was called Within the Womb of Night. And I was really happy with the way that turned out. I also have finished, it's in the editor's hands, and I'm waiting for cover art on it, which should be coming here by the end of the week. Crescendo in Coda, which is the end of my Slave Lords modules, and that's why I mentioned it. You'll get to see a Jockstew in there. That puts an end to that series for me. And finally, I am in the middle of writing a module right now for it's a commission for GrogCon, which I'm going to be appearing at the top of September. It's called Hall of the Mountain Kings, and their adventure, their convention this year is themed around Against the Giants. So this is going to be kind of an attaché to Against the Giants, something you can use if you're interested in that kind of a I don't know a coda to that as well. So, oh, thanks so much. Yes, I appreciate that, Gary.
So a little helpful hint there. I know Bill Master Crafter got was getting a module from you.
Yeah.
There's reasoning for that. So he's I always say we're never starting new first again. But with my Altamira stuff coming out, we need new firsts to experience all the encounters in the city. So
Right.
he's making a Greyhawk mage that is based off of, and he's building something too that's based off of Baba Yaga.
Yeah, he's been asking me. He asked me some questions about Baba and
Yeah.
about some of my modules and stuff over on Discord on my channel.
Good. That's good because that he's doing his research on it. Because I'm like, Bill, we need probably 8 to 10 spells from different sources just to start off to kickstart it. Because with a Greyhawk Mage, you can take spells from other named spellcasters, but you really have to have about two spells per level up through 5th to
Right.
have your own flavor to it. So yeah, that's what he's trying
Yeah,
to
he
work
was
on.
asking me about do I have any custom spells for them? And the answer is yes. And they're going to be that. I think that's why he's sticking around on the Patreon, is because I'm going to be feeding those through.
Good. That's cool. Excellent. Perfect. I really appreciate coming on tonight. This is fun.
Thanks. Thank you for having me.
Anna,
Like I said, I wasn't prepared for school. I'm not even wearing my
Yeah.
Cats
see,
Entertainment shirt.
sometimes it's better off that way, man. Boom, 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 boom. Right
Yeah.
now,
Yeah.
less. Does Carlos have custom spells? Truckloads of them. Yes, which is fantastic.
Asher, if you only saw the character sheet for the Colorless Mage of Perenland, I think I have like 70 custom spells I haven't even released yet on that sheet. So
Excellent.
that's what happens when you play a character for close to 35 years.
Isn't it, man? That's the great thing, man. Just build, build, and then it's like, wow, I got all this content, and that's what's so great.
Yep.
It's so wonderful. So Anna, what's going on?
Well, my big commission for Gamehole Con is in the middle of it or a little bit after. So I'm hopefully I can start ramping it down in a couple of weeks or like a month. Then almost all of it will be done. So right now that's my main thing, but I'm trying hard to squeeze in a little bit of other stuff. I have some heraldry coming, one that will tie into one of the wizards I mentioned here that I found heraldry on that is in the lore that I overlooked. There was a thing hanging on the wall, so so that is coming in, and there's some others that I want to dive into from history and stuff too. So I did the Loom the Mad and stuff. I did that for GaryCon. There were a bunch of stuff. There's some other various people from the history that I want to add to, and some of these from Great Kingdom needs to have some heraldry. So so that is coming. But another project is when I've been working too hard in World Machine and stuff. I'm working on my house rules, and their working name is Hawk Tales.
Oh, cool.
So it will be a fully my own version of what I think D&D should be. So it's my Heartbreakers, that like they used to say. But I have no ambition of selling it. It will be Creative Commons, like my GREYHAWK map. So it will be, I will put it on my website or on its own website actually, and have it downloaded. So there will be a magic system there that has a little bit more. It will be very simple. If you just want to play a wizard and just cast spells, you can do that. But if you want to specialize, or if you want to know how you can cast better spells, if you go to the astral plane and stuff like that, then there will be way more stuff behind the scenes, so to speak. And stuff is kind of we talked about. We didn't go into schools today, but I have it that healing is like evil gods can't heal. And so that's part of good ones. So necromancy, they have a nasty way of healing. You can steal life force from others, so
Yeah,
to
life
speak.
force
Just
transfer.
yeah, exactly. So that's the way I use in clerics and
Vampire
others
touch.
priests. Exactly. They do it in the most gruesome way, so to speak. They steal life force. So that's the way you heal if you're evil. Or have an evil deity. And so I try to put a little bit. So it's basically 5e mechanics, but with more of third edition's intricacies behind, so to speak. So I because I liked a lot of these kind of definition that were more to it. So it's a rule system that is very sandboxy and simple rules, but with a lot of flavor to them. That's my idea, so to speak. So, and anybody who play D&D will feel right at home, except for the fact that there's no classes. It's a game. It's a game that
Well, Rich doesn't have classes
looks.
either.
It doesn't start from the mechanics. It starts from the setting and then apply the
That's cool.
mechanics. Yeah. So that I think is my not unique. I've seen other people do similar stuff, but
All right, it works.
from mainstay. Yeah, that's the reason I do it, because it's kind of rare. So it's definitely not the edition for or version of rules for everybody, but it might be for some.
Yeah.
Some might like it. So yep. So that is coming, and my GIS map is starting to near the stage where I will start coming up with the first test maps. It's a
Oh,
few
cool.
weeks away. Yep. So the first test maps, and yep, that's what's going on at the moment.
So, a lot of you know, I don't know if Carlos knows this. I did something stupid. I agree, because Little Bird is like, a video game streamer, and she does these 24, sometimes 35, 36-hour streams. She's like, Jay, why don't you do a 24-hour D&D stream? I'm like, okay. So, but go big or go home. So I'll get to that in a second here. As we start a prelude/foreshadowing event Thursday night for this. 3 sessions. Hints of the past. We got part 1 on Thursday, right? And it's going to go into what's going on in this adventure. For this, when we do our Hateful Wars 24-hour historical recreation scenarios, you like that, don't you?
Cool.
Yeah. All right. So people are going to be playing ancestors of characters in the campaign for these scenarios.
That's awesome.
So, for example, I already have an advisor. Co8 is playing an advisor, a priestess, an elven priestess, who's actually the aunt of Gazumba himself, and the mother of one of her existing characters, Fornlin, of Prince Treseren. That ain't going to go well, right? So you like that?
Aunt Gazumba.
Yeah. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a blast. So that is July 12th and 13th. But all right, so I'm getting the characters and players together. This is a Herculean thing, because I got 3 games I'm gonna run that day. Starting Friday night, running, and we'll have breaks in between talk shows and other things. It's gonna be a long 24 hours. But Saturday's Hints of the Past Part 2, and that will continue this drudging up of old things. And you'll understand if you read any of Tommy John Kelly's book, that like Prince Treseren had a ledger, had a signed agreement in the Duchy of Ulick, and he was coming back when he disappeared. Well, none of that was ever found. So, a little foreshadowing there. Here's some of the the print goes ever on, and Gamescape have really stepped up with a lot. We got a lot of new models and a lot of new terrain, and we're gonna see it all starting tomorrow night and Saturday. So as you can see, look at these things, these trolls, right? And you got Flynn archers riding on top of them. I mean, it's cool stuff, you know. Wait, and look at these guys up top, just shooting catapults. Trolls shooting catapults off there. Yeah, I am excited about the terrain we got and all that. Yeah, that's pretty neat. So I prepped some pictures up for you all to see. So that's what's going to be going on. Then we'll have a Gabbard on Sunday. So 4-stream week this week and 3 next week before I go on vacation. All right. So that's it. We'll see you tomorrow night. 7:30 is Reaper Manager giveaway tomorrow night. It'll be good. And then
I'll run the stream on Friday as usual.
And then I'm back on Saturday morning 9 a.m. with Mike Disney, Coco, Korg, and Rob Phantom for Hints of the Past Part 2. All right. So let's do the giveaways. Exclamation point drawing, get in last second if you so choose. Thank you for all the support tonight. Carlos, thank you so much for coming on.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yeah, thank you, Carlos.
Hey, I know you've never played in one of my games. If you want to play in that historical scenario thing, let me know.
Yeah, is it really? It's a 24-hour commitment?
No. I'm running 3 games that are between 5 and 6 hours each.
That's right. That's
3 separate.
It's not one game. Yeah, there's different things, but the stream is going on 24
hours straight. Yeah, dude, I'm nuts. Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks, Asher. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
We're really all right. So let me go to Cloudbot giveaways if I can find it because they moved everything around.
He sure is. He sure is.
Oh. I don't know about that, Greg. It was you had fun with that group of the Slav Squad, right? It was a good time. That's, it's just, it's.
I think that was more of a comment on you that
I'm soft. I am soft sometimes. I'm soft with a lot of my.
We all are.
X-Gray mistake. X-Gray mistake. You win the William Henry Dvorak spell tome of the new Council of 8 as long as you're on. Second winner is Touch of Evil. Touch of Evil, you win your choice of a classic D&D reprint. You got it, I may have your name and address. Just please whisper it to me again. I probably have it, but I need to send it to William Henry Dvorak. He's going to direct send you this stuff. So give me what name, address, and an email address all together so I can have Will send you the PDF and also get the book to you. And then second winner was Touch of Evil, who is on. Cool, Touch of Evil. Let me know if you have anything you want. I got almost every adventure, but if I don't have it, your name and address as well, so I can send that out and get that right out. So we're gonna raid into Rob. Phantom is playing a game. So Curtis and Brett are playing in the 24-hour stream. And I think Curtis is playing a Winchester, which is perfect because of Fritz. Fritz is his boy now. So yeah, this was great. So everyone say hi to Rob. I know he's doing like a tribute game tonight for someone who passed, so I'm gonna raid into him, Phantom NJ, and you'll see him Saturday morning too. See you tomorrow night at 7:30. Carlos, thanks a lot. Anna, thanks. What a great stream. Let's keep it rolling here. Keep the community going. Carlos, your next con is not GrogCon, or you got anything else?
Yep, GrogCon on the top of September.
Well, okay, good. So maybe we can get to for virtual GrogCon's first week in October. So as long as you're not working, maybe we can get you in on that too. Awesome. Thank you very much. I'm gonna hit a wrong button. Wrong button. I did. I hit a wrong button. You dumbass. Hit another one. Oh my gosh. There we go. Jeez. Duh. All right, set the raid up. Set the raid in Phantom. Say hi to Rob, please, everyone. Really appreciate it. Rob always tries raiding into me on Thursday nights, which is great. He's Carlos, stick tight after I raid it if you don't mind. I want to just tell you something personal.
Okay.
If you don't mind. Nice. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Almost 69. Nice number. We'll see you tomorrow night. Thanks. 70.
Bye-bye.
Awesome.
All right, there we go. All right, let me just put that in there like that and end this and all. I've told a lot